What is going on? What is going on? We should be live. Let me know if you can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. Very impromptu. Okay, it is 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. This is not my normal live time, and I'm fine with that because I'm excited for a couple reasons um, that we will get into here. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me, all that stuff. Let me try to readjust here. Um, yeah, a lot of interesting things going on. We'll do like 2 minutes of just like real quick recap stuff because tomorrow is actually a special day. I'm going to give like 2 minutes of explanation here. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, tentatively, we are going to be going over all of the bricks, like components and new bricks, some new bricks features and things like that. Because I was watching KG, Kevin Geary's stream earlier today. Very interesting stuff. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. A lot going on in the bricks world, and we're gonna be doing that most likely if I have confirmation. I think I have like 99% confirmation. So myself and Brendan O'Connell should be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. To check that out. So once you see that notification pop up, make sure you click the little notify me button so you don't miss that when we going over some cool stuff there. The reason we're live today specifically is because over in Kevin's Inner Circle, actually, which if you guys are not a part of, it's a great community to be in. I've learned a lot over there. I'll leave a link here. That should send you over to Kevin's website or whatever. But the Inner Circle, a lot of really good conversation takes place on there. And obviously, like, I'm kind of a part of the Bricks community and everything like that. So I'm very thankful because I always get like tagged in different posts, especially particularly when Jet Engine comes up in Crocoblock, because I seem to be the one of the resident people that know their way around that, which a bunch of other creators do as well. But we have an interesting situation, and I was thinking through it, and these are just, I really love when these things come up because it's a real world scenario that other people can benefit from, and I have built similar things in the past, but I just like to come on here and just be real chill and for us to just kind of like walk through the steps of like how we would do this and process some decisions and think about stuff. And so the title of this video is obviously building like a tourism website, like a tourist website. We're not going to build the whole thing. Obviously, I'm not Superman. I can't build this whole thing in like an hour and a half or whatever. But we are going to walk through like a lot of the data process parts, right? Like, I mean, there's a ton of other content out there, and everybody, we're always trying to like build cool things with, whether we're using frames or other templates and stuff like that. I am a dynamic data guy through and through, and I like the idea of really structuring and thinking about these things up front when you're building something, like the templating, the dynamic data, the structure of all that, the data architecture, if you will, to whatever extent we actually do that, in the WordPress realm. So that's what we're mainly going to be doing, because the questions that I was seeing around there and that I was tagged in were around a specific use case, and specifically about how to structure taxonomies, custom post types, and you can never get enough of this. You can never get enough of these reps, because this stuff is like ever evolving and ever, like, it just keeps getting more complex the more that you do it. And if you do it more and more, then you get better at it. So that's my thought process. That's where we're at. Let's go through some of the chat here. Appreciate you guys. Joe, what's up? I believe is that Joe, that we're doing this for. You let me know, Joe. And let's see here. It's not even Thursday. Yeah, it isn't Thursday. You're gonna get a double dose of me this week. Okay, tomorrow, less than 24 hours, you're gonna see me again. But appreciate you being here, Rob. It's not Thursday. Had to check. This is time slot, bro. This is the after. This is kind of like the maybe it could be classified, depending on where you live, your home commute back from the office. Yeah, that's what this time slot is, and it's impromptu, and I was feeling it, so that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Yeah, cool. Nice, Joe. What's up? Okay, cool. So yeah, Joe in the chat here is going to help me out because this is his question, his project that he's working on, and we're just going to dive in and build the stuff because it's real cool. Also, another random thing that maybe some of you care about, maybe some of you don't. Very exciting for what I'm about to click on right here. Right here. Look at this. Look at this. Not just the inner circle part of this. We'll get to that. But like, look at this. Look at my face. Look at this. Look at this. I can put it anywhere. I can put my face anywhere. I could do all sorts of stuff. And this is in Restream, which Restream never had this before. And I've worked specifically right next alongside, I feel like, to the product manager over at Restream, Alex. And I've told him, bro, we need this because I am tired of my face being microscopic in the corner of the screen here. So I'm just absolutely geeked out of my mind that now I have a web-based like live streaming platform that I can have multiple people on and very easy and all that sort of stuff. Maybe you guys might not give a shit about this, but for me, this is awesome. Okay, I could put my face anywhere, put it like all over the place. I even got this little Theo T3GG thing going on where I put a little vertical thing up in the right hand corner. So a lot of other things. I'm working with them now on like some other ways to make things even cooler or whatever, because this layout necessarily isn't working. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into it, okay? But point is that my face is bigger now on the screen. So maybe some of you like that, maybe some of you don't, but those are the things I get excited about. Okay, so here's the deal. Pretty much, I'll give you the high level. I'll kind of go back and forth. Again, I want to stress that this originated from someone tagging me over in Kevin Geary's Inner Circle. If you guys are not a part of the Inner Circle already, I would highly recommend. There's a lot of stuff in here. Obviously, we're not going through all of this. I'm just going to show you this thread and kind of give you an example. We'll go through the website and we'll kind of just start building some of the data architecture. I'm not talking about crazy styling or design or anything like that. These are the types of things though that like you should really think about the data architecture from the get-go. So yeah, let's talk about it. So I'm going to paraphrase a lot of this stuff. Basically, it's a tourism website. Joe here is in the chat. Say hello. If you guys have any questions, like ask in the chat, obviously, and I'm going to be asking Joe questions, and we can kind of go back and forth with some of this stuff because some of this might be up to interpretation. Steven was also in the chat here to tag me, and I just sent over like a quick little video kind of explaining some of my thoughts there. If you are in the Inner Circle, you go look this thread up and take a look at this stuff. But yeah, so I was just going through it and trying to see like kind of exactly what was going on. There's this one good one right here, I believe. I think, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, I've been working on this for a couple days. And this is probably the best one because this is where I based most of my stuff off of, was right here. So you guys can, my face actually might be too big now on the screen. God damn it. I wish I could collapse this over here. I don't know if I can do anything specific, but we'll just work around my face for now. But anyway, so this is the message kind of throughout here as I was like, understanding kind of what was going on. This is the message that I was like, okay, I think that we could definitely do some really cool stuff here and potentially make like a pretty good like educational piece and piece of content around this. So so Joe was replying to Steven here, and we're just saying like there's a kind of a main taxonomy, and there's a bunch of other like archive specific taxonomies. And again, it's a tourist site, so I can show you in a second. But the idea is there's like activities, and then there's all sorts of different types of activities, and just a lot of different stuff going on there. And I'm gonna try to go through my progressions of, depending on what types of data we're dealing with, what we actually need to do as far as what types of CPTs do we need, what types and how many taxonomies do we need, and then also the fields, yes, but the fields are less specific for what we're trying to do here. We're really trying to make the website, the architecture of the website and the pages, the templating as simplistic, but also as like versatile as it can be. And as soon as I read that there were 20 archive specific taxonomies, you can see in the video above here, I was like, I expressed it like, that's a lot that I don't know if I've ever had that many. And there's an idea of doing like hierarchical taxonomies and things that might help. But basically just, here's a great use case. And again, I also want to take a quick second here that if you're ever asking for help, this is a great example of how to ask for help. Make sure that you're providing like use case examples, like, because when you're asking, whether it's me, Kevin, anyone else on the internet, okay, or just like a friend, give context to what you're asking, because people just don't know. Like, it's very difficult to like actually, understand something. That's why I like doing these, because it takes the theory out of it a little bit. We talk about the theory, but it puts a real world use case to it, and then it's easier to kind of extrapolate for other use cases. So love this here. So use cases like main taxonomy with restaurants and hotels. Separately, I have archive specific taxonomy called type of cuisine, and then I only want this taxonomy to show up for when restaurants is like checked as an example. I think the question here ultimately stemmed from the idea of on the back end when you have, for instance, and I can kind of just go over kind of like what I said in this video down here. Basically, there's this concept of in JetEngine, which is another really important piece if you guys ever deal with anything other than ACF. JetEngine operates different than ACF does. When you go to put a custom post type into JetEngine, you're putting the meta fields directly kind of like associated with the field. So if this was like team members or something like that, Down here would be your fields for that team member. That is different inherently than how ACF works. With ACF, you create the custom post type, and then after that, you go to the field groups section and you create the field groups, and then you associate the field groups with one or multiple custom post types. Hopefully that makes sense. If you're familiar with ACF, it will. But if that doesn't make sense, or I mean, if you're used to Jet Engine, you don't know what I'm talking about there. Maybe meta boxes are something you've played around with. Meta boxes in Jet Engine are very similar to field groups in ACF, because with a meta box, you create your fields and everything, and then you can set your post types that you want those fields to be associated with. Like you could set multiple. You could set posts, team members, like whatever you have created. It's a small nuance, but depending on what you're trying to do, it might be important. So in this case, we were talking about the concept of potentially only showing certain fields when certain taxonomies were like selected in different posts and stuff like that, kind of just like those types of conditional things, which you can kind of do. If you created a meta box here, you could say add new condition. You could say like post has taxonomy terms, and then you could do specific taxonomy and specific terms. That's an option. We may get to that, but I think that in our use case here, what I'm going to do, just so we can start playing around here a little bit, is I'm going to go over to the website here, and I'm going to just kind of take this and kind of explain, like kind of basically how I would progress through some of these things. So yeah, so basically it is a tourist website, and there's like, as it was expressed again, there's another video that Joe put in that thread. If you guys are in the inner circle, it's your standard tourism website where it's like there's places to eat, places to stay, activities and events, and all these types of different things. And how you structure this data is really going to be dependent upon what you actually want to do with it. From what I've gathered and what I just know as far as like extrapolating to, is you obviously want to have somebody come here and be able to see all these different things. You want to come here and be able to like click to eat. I'm not sure what does and isn't fully built out on the website here yet, but basically places you would click this and you would expect to see some restaurants, like a list of restaurants and everything like that. Over here, hotels. Over here, activities, and over here, events. Now, here's the thing that I love, and also the thing I think that trips people up when you're talking about dynamic data, and it's the fact that you have to do a lot of pre-planning. Like you have to in order to not redo yourself like on any of this stuff, you have to really think about how you're going to structure all these different things and what makes the most sense. So let's just take a step back for a second here, because we're going to be doing some things, but we do have to think about it. If we were going to say restaurants, hotels, like if these are restaurants, if these are hotels, if these are activities and these are events, to me, one way to think about that is those are all different custom post types. Like, I'm not saying we're going that route, but we have to go step by step. We have to go scenario by scenario. Let's say they're all different custom post types. The reason I would consider them to be all different custom post types is because the way that I think about it is, if you've created a custom post type before, also if you've never done this, wpdynamicdata.co. I'm going to try to give you a lot of information in this video, but obviously it's not going to be that long. So if you haven't seen my series on dynamic data, wpdynamicdata.co, go check that out, because I think it'll definitely help a lot. But the thing is, you have to go scenario by scenario, and the quickest way to start off in my mind is always like more custom post types, not necessarily more taxonomies and things like that, because that gets really sticky really fast. And the other big thing is, I think sometimes people are scared of putting more custom post types on. I am never scared of putting more custom post types on. I probably overuse custom post types because I want to manage my data that I know I'm going to use across the website as much as possible. So that's just my personal way of going. The reason I'm saying this is because let's try example one. Let's say that we want to use as many custom post types as as reasonable, right? Like that we're using for different things. The way to think about this is we're going to have restaurants, we're going to have hotels, we're going to have activities, we're going to have events. The easiest way to think about this is, okay, I have these different types of data. Do they need, like, if we compare and contrast the data that we need to hold within each post, the type of like fields really, what's that relationship like? And I don't mean a relationship as like one post to another. I mean like what kinds of fields are we going to need in each one of these custom post types? So for instance, a restaurant. What kinds of data do you need to hold? If you had John's Diner on this website, what kind of data do you need to know for that specific restaurant? It doesn't, I mean, there's a laundry list, but let's say there needs to be a title, which is obviously be the title. There'd probably be a featured image, whatever. There would probably be hours. There would probably be type of cuisine. There would be maybe a description of just like the overall thing. There would be like phone number, stuff like that. Like really what we're building here is like an extended directory. Like there's a ton of things going on in here, and they're like little mini directories with all these different things in here. So there's a lot going on, and the main thing to me is that in my mind, you're probably going to want to segment out each one of those things. You're probably going to want to segment out restaurants and then hotels and then events at minimum, because those three things are very different in my mind. Like an event is going to have a time, a start time and end time, a start date and an end date, or whatever the fields are there. It might have a location, right? Or an address associated with it. The other ones might have addresses, but there's too many differences already going in my mind that at least I'm going to have 3 custom post types there just to start. Okay, so we're just scratching the surface here. Let me go to the chat here real quick because I think there's probably a ton. Let me see here. Joe says, I can't state how cool this is to me. Well, I appreciate that, Joe. And if you guys have questions too, leave them in the comments. Like I said, if you have questions on this, leave in the chat. If you ever have situations like this, hit me up or, tag me in wherever you're looking at it on different communities. I'm in a lot of them. I love doing these things like this because this actually, well, one, truthfully, selfishly, it's content for me, which I love, but also I hope it's, valuable just to, especially for whoever's project is, but also just in general, like hopefully we can work through some of these things that, you can kind of utilize for other pieces. You just got to shovel a foot of snow. Nice. Nice. Let's see what it is. It's just what we always wanted. Yeah. On the way home, Matt's on his way home and he's listening to my stuff here. Nice. Let's see here. Steven, what's up? Nice. Thank you guys for being here. D123, what's up? Thank you. Okay. So Joe says, events will be in different areas because of the backend implications. Interesting. Okay. See, like this is another really important thing. Like this is an important consideration when we talk about thinking before we actually go and do this. So like, for instance, is events live already or no? I thought I saw one of these had stuff in it when I was playing around with it. But the thing is, like, if events are in a different platform, like in a Meetup or, just some other SaaS product, then that's something you have to consider. For this use case, I think I'll probably just build out a simple little events thing so we can kind of do that real quick. But if it was not that, then obviously you'd have to consider it. But you should. What I would personally love to see is, even if you didn't put events in the CMS, like even if you didn't have like a ton of events in there, you would still probably want like a /events page, right? And depending on, if you don't have the events in your CMS, like within WordPress, right, then you're not going to have any way to actually show, unless you go crazy with like, some sort of API integration like that, you're not going to have any way to show and relate and categorize any of those events. So regardless, I think in this case, I'm still going to create an events thing. But yeah. Okay. So Joe says, I have one CPT now. Idea was to have that one be more flexible. Okay. So I hear what you're saying there, and that might work, but in every instance that I've ever tried to do that, it's always made my life harder rather than easier. And I understand why it might be simpler to think that way. But I think at least the way that I've learned to work and massage WordPress, it's just never worked out for me. I always tell the story. The very first project I tried to do, I tried to just use the post thing and use like a bunch of taxonomies and stuff. Obviously, it wasn't even introduced to CPTs at that point. But I just don't think that really works. And there's no limit to number of CPTs that you should have. We could talk about like maybe performance stuff and all that sort of shit, but I really don't think that plays as much of a part in this as we as it matter. You know, like I don't think we're gonna reach a point where that's really gonna matter with something of this magnitude. So I think I understand why we would go one, but I probably wouldn't. So I think that there's probably at least three that I'm already seeing just in the little bit that we have going on here so far. Um, Event will also have the restaurant in it. That's a good point too. Like if there, see, that's another good. Okay. Wait a second. I did just think of something. I don't know if we got it in the comments yet. What we might be able to do is we might be able to say place, so or a location, and then I think place would be nicer. But I see this is why again this is why I like talking about this, but it is so like this gets so deep so fast because you really have to think about like where your website is going to go in just like at least a year's time. Because if you want to expand, you might like think of tomorrow like another thing, you know what I mean? Like another content type that you want to add or something like that. And it might just be like really annoying to, quite frankly, to like fix it and restructure your data. So let's put that on the list though. Let's say restaurants, hotels, events, definitely an option. Another option would be places and events in my mind, because there is enough of a similarity I feel like between hotels and restaurants to potentially combine them, but not enough. They're definitely okay. Now I'm going to say if there's events, there definitely cannot only be one. But I understand what you were saying, Joe, that you have events somewhere else. So I get that line of thinking. I'm thinking about activities. Honestly, activities. It depends on your definition of activities, but activities could be like events, or they could also be like categories of events in my mind, so to speak. Um, Activities, I think obviously this website is obviously translated, so there may be some English, like not exactly one to one there, but I think a better way to think about this would be for activities, another synonym would be things to do, and then those things to do would be like what Joe has here over the top here, like outdoors. So these are kind of like categories of events almost, I would say. um yeah, in a way, categories of events or archives of event. Yeah, okay, so here's what this would be. This would be a taxon. I think this would be a taxonomy. These would definitely be taxonomies. And events could be categorized in these types of taxonomies. But when you go to any of these work, when you go to, okay, there is events here. My expectation, okay, is this a different website or is this the same? Either one. So what my expectation I feel like would be when I go to like, nightlife, for instance, for activities, on that page would be something that says like this is the nightlife scene in with Maastricht, right? So this is the nightlife scene, and then underneath it maybe a section that's like, okay, here are the upcoming events that are categorized, so to speak, or tagged with nightlife, and here are the places. In addition to the events, here are the places that you could maybe like categorize as nightlife. I'm thinking that that's kind of a direction we could go here. Rob says, I've had the need for events to have a month without the date. Interesting. So clients could say an event is coming in June, but we don't have to know exactly when yet. That's a good point. Off the bat, I did that. Did I do I don't know if I did a video specifically on that, but we should be able to get to something there. The only thing I'd say there is yes, but I would. I'm gonna comment on this because this is really really important, and this absolutely is in the video that I did recently. Just search dates stuff. I think it was when I was talking about the WP Town Hall website that I was doing. Long story short, okay, and I'll do it in this video. Long story short, do not ever. I said in the beginning of this video, and I messed it up. Don't ever use a separate date and time field for events. That is an absolute. That there actually may be some instances. So maybe I don't like absolutes. I just did one there though. Here's the reason though. Okay, find me an example where it doesn't work. Here's the reason. If you use start date time and end date time, then you can manipulate that data however you want, and you'll always have a full timestamp. Whenever you're going to, it gets very difficult when you separate the date and the times like if you have a start date and a start time, it gets very difficult to start organizing like and ordering data in a loop like that, because literally a date time stamp is an actual integer number that just keeps counting up. So it's always easy to compare and to order like less than equal to on that. Obviously, maybe there's a certain time where you have no care in the world at all to do any of that ever, and maybe use just a date or just a time. But I'm going to say in 99.9% of use cases, when you're going to want to have events like that, you absolutely want to use start date time, end date time, and that's it. Because you can always format the data on the front end to only show what you want. You could have it just show the month if you want, and on the back end you would have just selected like June 1st or some shit. It doesn't matter what the number is, like the date is, because you're always going to have, you're just going to be showing the month. Anyway, that's an aside for right now. We'll come back to that. Okay, so I have to rework some event systems I built recently, but we'll keep that functionality going forward as a seed. Yeah, okay. Some locations have overlap, as I told you, okay, in the inner circle. So place that offers food, so places to eat, that serves cocktails in the nightlife. Okay, so locations. Okay, I'm getting more sold on the idea of places. Okay, here's the deal. I think you'd have to make, I don't know anything about Maastricht, okay? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. But I'd have to know, I would be asking myself a question right now. You have restaurants, right? So you have like chain restaurants, McDonald's, whatever the hell, and you also have like, like just one-offs, right? Those all make sense for like a restaurant type at least. That could be a place that's categorized as a restaurant, maybe. When you go to the hotels though, what I would make a distinction on that might help is when you say like Hotel Maastricht or whatever, that's a hotel, and that could be categorized as a hotel within a place CPT. But I guess it could also be it could also just be categorized as like a restaurant or like a bar or something in the categories of places. I'm really starting to sell myself on the place thing. I'm really starting to sell myself on the place thing. Like slash places. I don't know if places is the best word, but I'm thinking okay, the other thing is too, guys, I'm not making anything up here. This is not innovative, okay? The other thing we could do is we could just look at other websites. We could just look at other tourism websites and see how they do it and just rip it off. It's that easy. Like, I mean, I do that all the time. So like it's that coupled with the idea of like how Google maybe uses their place system, right? Like their maps. So would be another example that I would kind of like play off of for this, which actually would really help too, because you're literally you might be trying to map places if you go like deep enough with something like this. I'm really getting sold on places. Let's keep going with the comments here and then we'll start doing some stuff. The client doesn't list events because the date is not confirmed yet, but they know the month. Okay, yeah, I see. I'm not set on events different place. That was my idea right now though, but I can adjust. Then we go. I'm not set on events different place. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. What's up? Thank you guys for being here. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we're almost at 5K. I think we're like 5 away. So yeah, hit that sub button. Appreciate you. And again, Brendan O'Connell and I tomorrow, if he can confirm right now if he didn't already. Yes, Brendan, we're discussing. You don't have to present anything. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Mark it on your calendar. Brendan and I going over brick stuff. Cool stuff. Yeah, activities was more of a grouping. Okay. Rob says 3 years. Yeah, be thinking 3 years ahead. That's not a bad suggestion. Okay, food and sleep had priority in my mind to be top level links. Got it. Okay. So you built that with Kevin's. Okay. She would not need to switch from do not show them on. Got it. So full date, fictional date. Okay, so you can use bidirectional relationships to have common events across post types. Yeah, so definitely something to consider there. I think, honestly, I think I want to just try to dive into this with places, and then we have a taxonomy for places. I'm just trying to think like what slash places would be, or like what that actually would like kind of not necessarily look like, but yeah. Okay. Let's just try here. All right. So if we get out of all this, also just real quick, I mean, we don't have anything crazy. There's a test site with a bunch of stuff on here, but like automatic CSS and frames, just because if I throw anything in here, I'm doing it very quickly. Design wise, Jet Engine, and then WS Form Pro, because Joe also did mention that he wants people to be able to add listings, which is a sick idea. And I do have a great example of this, and I cannot remember what. Oh man, I gotta find it. It's like it's a place in Texas. Um, Texas Lake something. Lake tourist website. It's like oh, this might be it. No, that's not it. Is it Lake Travis? Oh, it is Lake Travis. This is it. I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'll show you guys this one. Okay, so this is the shit I'm talking about. Okay, like I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys, anytime you're doing something, just go look at other people's work that have already done. Don't rip it off. Like don't rip off the content and stuff like that. But this person, whoever this is, okay, website, whatever, nice, interesting picture here. Like they definitely didn't come up with this concept. So just go do the same type of architecture, or at least get an idea for it. There's some weirdness going on this website. Don't take it exactly as it is. But I remember seeing this a long time ago. I have no idea how. And this is a cool idea for something that you could do here if you really wanted to. If you wanted to turn this in business talk real quick, if you wanted to turn this tourism website into like a cash generator, you could have people pay to be on this website. Now, there's a ton of other things. I really hate it when people just abstractly just inject that shit in and be like, oh, it's going to make you a ton of money. It's not going to make you a fuck ton of money unless you actually like cared about this and really marketed it and actually gave value to the people that you're going to put on here. But all these, I guarantee you up here, I guarantee you if this person is smart, all of these are paid ads just for being up here. Okay. I know we're getting off into the weeds a little bit, but this is actually how you make money, like with this type of shit. So, so you could build something like this, but if you really want to monetize, that would be a route that I would go. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I know that somewhere in here, I found something where it was like, become a member and then add your post. So I don't know. I feel like this has changed since I saw it last, but this is exactly kind of effectively kind of what we're talking about here. Although I don't even know what's going on. This is definitely different than when I saw this last. But get listed, okay? Okay, this is actually ass. Okay, what is going on here? Okay, but this is what I'm talking about though. Again, back to the business thing is like, I would go here. Okay, here. I'll drop this in the chat for you just so you know. There you go. So there's something like that. And let's see here. Okay, so yeah, something like this. Got it. Cool. Add an event. Same type of thing, right? I don't know if I would just put this on here like this, but okay. So again, go to this Lake Travis website if you want an example of kind of like another option here. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back here. Let's have it now. Places in the taxonomy I showed you. Okay, cool. My man, Nomad, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Sweet. Yeah, we have memberships now, and they are, what are they? Like $2, $3? I can't remember here. Let me see. Let me see here. What is this? This always gives me such a weird view on my side. Why can I not just click the member button, dude? Pause for station identification. There's a join link here somewhere. But yeah, anyway, if you click the join button below the video here, the player, then you can join membership. So thank you, Nomad, so much. I appreciate that, man. Okay, so what do we got here? So 3 main tags sometimes. Yep, and then you don't have to have WS Form do that. I didn't know that. Can you do that natively, D123? I did not know you had. Well, I mean, I know you can do it with post management here. Can you do that natively in Bricks, or do you have to use? I mean, you could do it a couple different ways. I guess maybe you could use We'll get to it. But yeah, let me know. Let me know how you guys would add, I guess, events. Well, the other thing too, though, is like, it would really depend. Like, are you gonna have Joe? Are you gonna have like members of the website add stuff, or are you just gonna have anyone on the front end add stuff? I don't know. I gotta start doing some stuff here though. I'm excited. I'm excited about this. So let's just play around a little bit because I want to see what we can do. All right, so if we might be kind of redoing some of this for you then already, Joe. If there's specific stuff as I set this up, let me know. But let me kind of just get us going here and then kind of go from there. All right, so we'd have places and then we'd have events. I see what you were saying about having events on that different site that you kind of like built. I get that. I like having it. Obviously, I would like having it all in the same thing. I think I always want to select date timestamp because we're going to query and everything like that. Update that, duplicate this. We'll say end date time. Oops. End date time. Lovely, lovely. Update that. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so start date time, end date time. Now here's where we get interesting, right? So we have an event and we have places. So what is the best way to put those both together? Well, I'm going to give you hopefully a little bit of knowledge here. If you went down here and you said, okay, well, I want this event, I want it to have a place. Okay, let's talk about this real quick for anybody that's never done this. So the first option you're going to think of, maybe if you're new, you're going to say location. And then you're going to go, okay, well, it could be just text. That's an option. Or it could be, do they have like a map thing in here? Or they ever did? I don't know if they ever had a map. I don't know if they ever had a map. Maybe ACF has a map or whatever. A map might be a good option too, like an actual address. That's a possibility. Here's the rub, okay? There's just text could work if you want to be like super like kind of static about it, not dynamic. Posts could work, and you could come down here and you could say, okay, I want when you're in events and you're picking a location for the event, I want you to be able to pick from places. That could work. The problem is that's like what I would classify as like a one-way relationship, because what's going to happen there is when you're over in the events or when you're over in the places situation, let's say you have a birthday party at a Chuck E. Cheese, okay? It's a terrible example. Let's say you have a birthday party at a Chuck E. Cheese. You're going to have, when you go to the actual birthday party event page with this setup, you're going to be able to see that it's at the Chuck E. Cheese. But when you go over to the Chuck E. Cheese page, you're not going to have the data associated to know that there is a birthday party at that Chuck E. Cheese. I am assuming in this setup, because that was a terrible example, but in this setup, you're going to want to know, like when you're on the event page, you're going to want to see the place that the event is at. When you're at the place, you're going to want to see the events that are there. Now, there's ways we can get even more granular with that and only show certain events at certain places and certain places, but the point is, most of the time for that, I would end up using a bidirectional relationship, and this is not where we do it. Now, I'm going to throw one more curveball at you, though. Here's the thing. We do want to relate these things. However, is it foreseeable? You got to ask yourself a ton of questions when you do this shit. Is it conceivable that one day you may want to put an event into this website that has a location associated with that event that is not a place post, so to speak, right? It's not over in the places. You can't pick from it. You can't relate to it. I think that's conceivable. I do think it is. And in that case, you're almost going to need like a backup, because if your normal workflow is to associate the place with the event that you want to do, it's not going to work. So I think what I might try to do here, and it may need modified, but I think what I might try to do is I'll say like location, and I'll just like make a note that's like, if not a place or something like that. Okay. So if it's not a place, then we're going to put our location in here. And then what is that going to be? Honestly, in my mind, it would be nice to have it as a map, which I could have sworn that I could have put a map in here at one point. Maybe it's an add-on or something for Jet Engine, but it's neat. I'm almost certain it is. I'm almost certain it's isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's a map field or something. let's do text real quick. Let's update this. I need to look into this real quick. Is there a map? I could have sworn there was a map like field. I know there's a calendar, or I know there's a map listing. I don't know if that's gonna help me. I know there's a map listing, but I don't know if that's gonna help with what I'm trying to do here. Oh, never mind. Okay, there's a map. Okay, so if I were you, then possibly what I would do is I would say location, if not a place, as a backup. This is an idea that I have right now based on how we're going to change the other thing. I would go map down here or text, doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. But ultimately what you're going to do is like put an address in there effectively because you're not going to have the data to pull from over on the other side. Is effectively what's going to happen. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking there. So now we have an event that has a date time, a date start time, can't speak, end date time, and then location if it's not a place. So it's like a backup. I would even put like a little note in there, like there's a little note section or description section. We would probably need, just for funsies, we'd probably need like an event description. If I could see around my microphone or type. Okay. Something like that. Honestly, I mean, you could go text area. I normally almost always go WYSIWYG just because like I never know if I'm gonna have to like style the shit that I put in those types of things. And anything else? Let's actually put this. Yeah, whatever. Right there is fine. Any other fields that we can think of? No, Matt, I cannot thank you enough. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Number one member, MGS member, first one ever. This is an historic day. Okay, so yeah, they need to log in via front end forms. Also want non-listing owners to add wish list kind of thing. Okay, we are getting excited now. This is nice. I think honestly, you're already in the jet engine world. We might be able to do some stuff with data stores there. Bidirectional relationships in ACF, Metabox, and I think jet engine. Ooh, interesting. Well, wait a second. Yeah. You could definitely do it with Jet Form Builder. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a million ways to do it. We'll have to look into that when we get to that point. So when they plan a trip, they can heart stuff. Yep, love that. I do think so, indeed. Yeah, sightseeing could be an area, indeed. Mark today, I replied to your tweet, and Buyer's reply. I went through all your 6 videos. Nice. Sweet. Appreciate it, Kai. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, if you have any questions on that, definitely let me know. You can comment on those videos and everything like that. I think I already linked that in this video. Yeah, wpdynamicdata.co. So if you have any stuff there, hopefully that's enjoyable and valuable. Honestly, this is going to be valuable too for you because we are doing very similar stuff, but more specific for the use case. Okay, I can't think of any other fields. If you guys have other fields for this, I will add more fields right now, but right now let's wait on that. Let's go over to back to our post types. And let's go to, so that was events. Events are always like relatively easy because like events are events. Also, I mean, I will say that you could use you don't have to create your own events via, you don't have to create your own events via like this, right? Like you could do some sort of like events calendar type thing or something else. I just love doing it like this because I have so much control. Like it's so much control over the data, over how it's presented, all that sort of stuff. It's a little more work sometimes, but this is, if you understand how this works, then you're gonna understand how like all this stuff works when it comes to dynamic data in general. Yeah. Okay, that was your choice. Okay, yeah, I could probably load up Jet Form Builder then too if we get to that point. So let's keep going with places. Okay, so let's think about a place. What's a place? A place is definitely gonna have like a featured image. I think I'd probably. Let's turn off the editor. Let's turn on featured imaging. I don't know why it doesn't have thumbnail by default a lot of times with that. So it's going to have a featured image for a place for sure, like a hotel lobby or, front of a hotel or something like that. It'll have, this is though right here where it's going to get kind of interesting. Yeah, it's definitely going to get interesting here. Okay, so the name of the place would be the title. The image would be the featured image. Huh. All right. So right away, hours are going to kind of suck. Um, I mean, I guess we got to put it in there. Operation. And I'm honestly thinking the easiest. I don't know if the only way to do this is a repeater. Um, I really do feel like repeater is probably the only way to do this. But I'm trying to think like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah. So like day. Uh, Wait a minute. So like day, if we had a repeater, we'd go day. So this is probably okay. Okay. So day would be, we'll say text. I think. We'll say like day of week. I've never done this. What the fuck? Why is it not? That's weird. I don't know why I wasn't automatically doing that. Day of week, and then we'll say opening time. This is really hard too, because like if you ever want to do like open then close then open then close like on the same day, you probably have to do another repeater. But we're gonna try to keep it simple. We'll say open time. That is definitely some sort of bug there. Open time. And this will be, now this is, I just said that. This is probably one time where you'd actually want to have time there because there's no date associated with that. But this also is an event, so I wasn't completely lying. Close time. Close time. Okay, so that might work. That might work right now. Yeah, if you want a screenshot, yeah, and just like DM it to me on the inner circle or something like that. Yeah, for sure. Faux show. Okay, so day of the week, open time, close time. Cool. Save it separate fields. Each value of the repeater is separate. I think you probably want to do that. Yeah. Title field. Yeah. Okay. Let's just try that. We'll give that a go. Okay, so what other things for places? Yeah, let me know if you send that to me, Joe. I'll pull it up on the side. Hours of operation. Okay, well actually, I mean we have to have an address, right? So, and this is tough though. We'll do a map. Can we do a map? It just gives you it just asks you for a thing, right? Let me see. What does this actually do here? You go to places, add a new place. Can't load the map, obviously, but there's somewhere in here where do I have to map settings, Google Maps. Can I just use like map one of these? Is this free? I don't really want to go get an API key, but I will if I have to, I guess. I thought there was a place in here where you could search. I thought I had to turn on something about like searching for what's it called? Like address, but that's neither here nor there this second. Okay, cool. Sent. General properties are glossary. Okay, let me pull this up over here. Hang on a second. Leave a like on the video if you're getting value out of this. That would be so great. Okay, hang on a sec. Cool. All right, so this is what we got. All right, cool. This is what we got from Joe over here. So we got address, postcode. Okay, so these just text fields, I guess. Address, postcode, place name, phone number, email address, website URL. Okay, so here's if I'm assuming these are text. Here's what I would do. Personally, I would love to have auto filling addresses, or like I always try to limit the amount of errors that I and potentially clients could make. So this stuff kind of scares me to have like just text like this. Doable for sure, would work, but I would say there's more optimal ways. That's why I'm trying to get this map thing to work. So I could just trust Google and just, Google fucks up, we're all screwed. So it's, put it on them. So I would kind of combine both of these. The only other thing is like, well, do you need the data to be separated? But I feel like there's probably still a way, if you really needed to, you could extract the data out of that field. For these purposes, I don't think you're going to need to do that, because I think you would be able to, because if everything was Google, you could somehow be like, okay, the things in, especially because it's just a city, I feel like you would be fine on that. That may change depending on your use case, but in this case, I think we're good. Place name, I'm not sure if we would need that, because I would think that's just the title. Phone number is good. Website, good. Email address could be good, yeah. Could be good to have there. Let's see. We definitely need address. We definitely need hours of operation. Let's try phone number. Also, another thing that like is good and bad about Jet Engine is just like the lack of fields, like the lack of field types. I don't like, for a phone number. I guess you just use text. It's whatever. I don't love it that I don't think there's much field validation in Jet Engine, which again is not really that big of a deal, but is not awesome. Like here's a better one, and a more specific one here is like the website URL. I know there's a URL field in ACF, and in here there's not. You just got to use text. So is what it is. Yeah. All right. So website URL, phone number, address. Those are all really important. And then we'll just say like, I guess we'll say email address too real quick. I do want to kind of get to the front end because I don't want to, like, I love this. I could do this all day, but I want to make sure that we kind of talk about some of this stuff. Lands in the general properties, if they have a terrace, place name equals city. Oh, city. Okay. I gotcha. Okay. So is city. Yeah. So like address then would be the first part, then city, then state or whatever, and postcode. I would say let's try to put all those in the map part. Yeah, that would be my thought process. So general properties. Okay, I see what you did here. Okay, so, all right. So these are kind of like features of the place, or like amenities in a way, something like that. A glossary is good and probably a safe bet. If you guys aren't familiar with what glossaries are in Jet Engine, they are kind of like a place to, it's kind of like a set of data that you can reuse for things like this, with like check marks, check boxes, or radio buttons. And yeah, you probably would want to use a glossary for that. That is a pretty good use case. Where it's really going to shine is if you end up one day having another CPT or expanding it or whatever. You don't have to create you don't have to create like the same instance again of all these. You could just bring in the glossary. I'll show you how to do that. So let's go to Jet Engine. Well, actually, let's just do this first. Let's go to our places. Let's go in here. I'm going to call it amenities. And we will say it's check boxes. These are check boxes, right? Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering if there's like another one. So manual input would be just you can't see these drop downs. God damn it. There's manual input. There is bulk manual input. There's glossary and query builder. Query builder is nasty. If you guys have never tried that on Jet Engine, it's so good to like generate stuff like that. But glossary is what we're going to want. And then we're going to select a glossary whenever I make the glossary. And then we could also save it as an array, which always messes me up. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't, I think. But let's go create a glossary if you guys have never seen that. So we go to Jet Engine, new glossary. And so these would be amenity. You could say amenity glossary. You could say amenities. You could say whatever. I normally just say like. I kind of like just saying glossary because then I know that it's the glossary. Because the field is amenities, and this is kind of like the glossary that it doesn't matter. Set items manually, get items from an uploaded file. It's so nice that they have so many options for this. And then what are some of our things here? So wheelchair friendly, dogs are welcome. Yeah, free park. Okay, so let's do free parking. Ooh. Okay. I don't like that this is switched in every other. I feel like in a lot of the other instances, it's labeled in value. Did they tell me to use a use hyphens or underscores? I don't know what the preferred thing is here. We'll go underscore. And then what else we got? Just a couple more here. We'll say pets welcome. Pets welcomed. And whatever. And then we'll do handicap accessible. Yeah. Is that how you spell accessible? Yeah. We'll just say accessible. That's fine. Cool. All right. So we have a glossary there. Perfect. We come back over here. We update this. We say really load. We come back down to amenities, and then we come to our glossary and we click amenity glossary. And now we can, that's a single source of truth for those types of things. We come into the glossary, and if we have those check marks in like multiple different things, then we can use them in multiple places. So yeah, it's a good use of a glossary there, I would say. Array for SEO. Perhaps. I think it's more for like when you're oh, what the hell was that? Checkbox will be stored as PHPs. Oh, we edited from a front end form. Okay, well we might want to do that. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. We'll check it for now. Cool. Oh, bring their rabbit. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe like dogs and cat or dogs welcome, cats welcome. I've seen that on like rental things. Okay, so we got all these now. Let's see what we got. We have our two things. Let's make a relation. I think a relation probably makes sense. So we're gonna go to add a new relation, and we'll say this is always interesting because to me we have one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many. So the point is, if you ever need, I think the way this works, I'm almost certain, is if you need a one-to-many, which I think in this case we might. Not necessarily. So like one-to-many would be, let's think about this. Let's think about one event has many places, one place has many events. One event has many places. Does one event have many places? Honestly, this is probably going to be a... So this is how I normally just go through this progression. Oops. Is one place has one event? No. Does one place have many events? Does one place have many events? Yes, certainly. Does many places have many events? Yeah, I think. Does one event have many places? That's where it breaks down a little bit for me in this example. Was one instance of an event, are you ever going to go into an event and then click and want to attach it to many different places? Honestly, maybe. I mean, in a sense, what if you had like a bar crawl or something and you had, so honestly, the safe bet for it doesn't really matter. Honestly, the safe bet for this is normally many to many. You could get more specific and like kind of reduce it down if you want to. But You know, that's kind of the thought process there. Um, this is different than the ACF way of working with this. I made that video on ACF relationships. Go watch it if you want to know how to do the bidirectional relationships that they kind of like made super confusing in some ways. In Jet Engine, there's a parent object and a child object with the way that they lay it out. The question here is again not I don't think it's super important to actually know from like a graphical user interface perspective. Maybe on the back end it matters more, but like places and events, which one is the parent, which one's the child? Can you have a place without having an event? Yeah, definitely. Can you have an event without having a place? Less likely, I would say, right? I mean, obviously we talked about like there might not be that direct that relationship, but in my mind, in this case, if you were going to try to select a parent object, it'd probably be a place because it could exist without an event. It's less likely that you're gonna. It doesn't again. It doesn't matter. You could still have places you can have events that don't have stuff. That's just what I would say. And then I always name these just like places to events, or you could do a little like colon in the middle or whatever. But places to events, boom, boom. That's whatever. We don't need any of that. We could change the labels for these and everything like that, but I'm just going to add that relation and then we're going to be good there. Possibly many places. Yeah, collabs. Many to many, yep. You like the ACF relationships better? Yeah, they're a little more, once you understand how to use them, they're not like complex, but I just think the way that they set them up are a little weird because you have to add that target in there. And I think, I don't know, I went through it and I was just like, that makes sense, but only after you really understand how to do it. This is a different way. I kind of like the way that though this is separate from the others, from like the actual posts, because I feel like it really isn't a part of the custom post type. I mean, it's a separate thing. It's you're relating to custom post types, but it all is the same shit. Virtual events, snow shoveled. Now I'm driving for coffee. Nice. Virtual events, yeah, for sure, for sure. That's actually a really good point. Okay, I think I put location. Huh. Okay. Well, real quick, we'll do this and then we'll try to do some stuff on the front end because this has been fun. Um, let's go back to places. No, let's go back to events for a second. And let's go back to events and let's do, I don't know if you're going to have virtual events, but it's probably worth noting and it'll give us another good example here. Let's do something like this. Let's say I don't know. We'll just say virtual event URL or something like that, or link or whatever the hell you want to say. And then let's do this. Well, actually, you could just use no. I mean, if you want to use if you want to use just text instead of the map, you could probably just say location or whatever and then pop it in there. Regardless, like you could just write in, if you change this to a text field, you could just write in the address, or you could drop in a URL. But if you're going to try to be like buttoned up and you're going to do a map like this, then obviously you can't put a URL in that. So I'm going to go map, and then I'm going to go for the location if it's not a place, and then I'm going to say virtual event URL for if it would be a virtual event. Now, the other thing that I would say is if you want to clean it up even further, then one thing you could do is say event location type, something like this, or we'll just say location type or venue type or something. Let's just say type, whatever. Don't need to overcomplicate this. I would recommend though that you try to, again, this is the other shitty part, like the wording. Okay, like you can't really change this wording because then it's like it's in the database and it's all murky. ACF is worse. Always click this button over here for me. Okay, I'm always clicking this delete metadata over here because when I delete shit, I want it to be gone out of my database. For some reason, ACF doesn't do that. But what I would probably do here is I would say type here, and then I would go. I would change this to not a select. I'd go radio, And then I would do manual input is fine. And then I would do you could do this however you want. But I would say in our certain case here, I would probably go place, and then I would go um, you could say something like non-place, if that makes sense. I'll explain this in a second. I don't know if this, again, I don't know if this should be a underscore or whatever, but it doesn't matter. And then down here, I would say virtual, okay? Update, come over here to our dashboard, come to events, events, add a new event. All right, so I gotta get rid of this block editor up here too. I'm gonna do that right now. Come down here, that's not the right one. Get rid of this. Down here, nope, up here. Advanced settings, come down, editor, thumbnail, boom, done. Terrific, refresh this. Lovely, okay. So start date time, description, type, so place, virtual, non-virtual, like all this sort of stuff, right? And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna conditionally show, if it's a place, I'm just not gonna show either of these fields because you're just gonna wanna do this down here, right? Which would be cool if you could conditionally show this. I do not think you can though. I'm almost 100% certain you cannot show this. But this would be super cool if you could conditionally show it. It doesn't matter. We'll just hide these fields when this is selected. When non-place is shown, all that, you could change the wording, but all that means is that it's not going to be a place. It's going to be, I'm just going to show this field. I'm going to hide this field. And then when it's virtual, I'm going to hide this one and I'm going to put this one down here. Now, you don't have to do that. Maybe there's hybrid events. Maybe the type, you know what I mean? Like, you could do a lot of different things here. I'm actually almost thinking to not even include this type thing. Different idea. Hold up, different idea. You're gonna have to just adapt this to what like you need in any of these scenarios, but let's just do it like this. I think this one might make better sense actually for what I've seen in practice. Let's make this a checkbox field. Fuck, no, you don't really need to do that though. My thought process was real quick. We're getting in the weeds. This is not important. My thought process real quick was that if you made this a checkbox field, then you could click one of them. And then on the front end, you could say this is a hybrid event, or this is a, you know, like just an in-person event or just a virtual event or what have you. You could do that, but you could also just extract that information from whatever you have in here. So for instance, if it's connected to a place, you could say it's definitely in person. And then if you have something in the virtual URL, like if you've entered a URL, then it is a virtual as well. So you could just dynamically show that information without selecting something here. So honestly, if you want to do it that way, if you want to do the conditional logic, it's very simple, okay? You just come down and you say virtual event, set up conditional logic, boom, new role. If the type is equal to virtual, then you show it. It'll be shown. That's all there is to it. Okay. And then similarly for the other ones, you would do the same thing. Like if type is equal to non-place, then you would show the location thing, the map thing. Yeah, it's we're getting into the weeds. It's too customized specifically. So whatever you kind of want to do there, that would be your MO. If you want to see one specifically, let me know. But that's what I would say. Yeah, it gets it confusing for sure. Nice heated seats. Have you noticed any speed issues when setting up lots of CPTs and relationships? If so, what methods used to improve page speed? So you could go to what's the best way for me to give you this? If you have issues with speed, okay, I would say that your best bet is going to be Perf Matters. That would be my recommendation. That said, the answer to that question is pretty much no. Like I've done a lot of relationship stuff. I've done a lot of custom post type stuff on my website, on client websites, on other project websites, and I've never really had too many issues with that type of stuff. Where you get into trouble, let me give you this link here. If you're interested in Perf Matters, I would just say if you have speed issues, performance issues, I would go Perf Matters. But I just really haven't. I mean, I'll give you an example, just real quick. This is my website here, and if you go to tools, like, I mean, this website isn't obnoxiously fast. It's absolutely not slow though, and like, look how much shit it just loaded. I'll go on a quick rant about this, or just like a quick explanation. When I was using Elementor and Jet Engine, and I was using like Jet Engine to populate the actual data on the page, way slower experience, because you were like layering Elementor and Jet Engine, and there was a lot of stuff going on. And then you would throw in like Jet smart filters on the side and everything. It was just a ton of shit. There's a ton of code. It's not even that it's bad code. It's just there's a ton of different code and like different types of code trying to load on the page at one time from different things. In this case, okay, when you're using Bricks specifically, this grid over here is built with Bricks, like natively in Bricks. It's loading it in there. Yeah, it's Jet Engine data, but Jet Engine is just like the thing that's like a connecting the database to the front end builder. It's not like it's adding in add-ons, like new elements in Bricks, like I had to do in Elementor when Elementor didn't have that stuff. Elementor does have that stuff too. That's why it's gotten better. Over here, these are all native facets. Like, this is, maybe that's not super lightning quick for you, but it's pretty fucking quick. Okay, like that is not, and I could probably make that quicker if I gave a shit. Like that is all native. When you stay native, and Bricks has a lot of stuff already native in it, it's fast. So that's what I would say, is just to kind of give you a overall rundown of my thoughts on that. But if you have problems, I mean, Perf Matters is the way to go, for me at least. Okay, all right. So we talked about all that. Let me see here. Webmasters with Brian Cords has entered the chat. I don't know what's happening. I just came to politely troll Mark. Hi, buddy. Appreciate you being here. Everybody go subscribe to Webmasters with Brian Cords, newest, hottest podcast in the game. Way better than WP Minute. Light years. Way better. That's funny. Okay. Let's see what we got. Joe, aren't there event systems we can integrate with Bricks and Query Loop? Maybe. When we say event systems, do we mean just like events plugins? Because I'm sure there are. Probably. To some degree. Again, my thing is literally actually just what I was just saying, is that is where I feel like it gets really scary to me, because when you start adding either short codes or other widgets that are external from that native experience, I feel like that's where you start to introduce like code bloat and like slowness and those types of things. If I'm building my own thing, if I'm managing all my stuff in the CMS of WordPress, regardless of what custom post type plugin I'm using, and then I am going and creating the grids and the cards and that type of thing with one specific tool like Bricks or whatever, then I feel like it's just a better experience from my experience. But yeah, there's definitely other stuff I'm sure that is out there to do that. Speed on the back end? No, I don't think so. I mean, that, in my opinion, the back end side of things, like I noticed a huge improvement when like I just have like good hosting, like quality hosting. Like there's other things that GridPaint obviously does, like Nginx stuff. What's the other one called? Redis object caching, like all those types of things. I think some of that stuff's on the front end, but yeah, I would say that's more of a hosting side of thing, again, from my understanding of it. I don't know. That's why I left Croco. Yeah, it was tough back then. It was not a great experience. Caching is not optimal yet in Bricks native filter, which makes a difference to the server performance. I'd say 2500 post. Yeah, I don't have 2500 yet, so I'm not 100% sure. Events got sticky in Kevin's system with multi-day options to display correctly in loops. Interesting. Okay, interesting. We'll have to play around with this. So where are we at? Let's see. Let's get rid of this. And I think we have some stuff now. So let's see how we would actually light this up. We have gotten our post types for events and for places. We have them being able to be related. Is there anything I missed? Images. We could do like a gallery or something for sure of the stuff. But let's just maybe play around with not my least favorite, but I'm not a designer, so let's see what we got here. How would we do this? Easiest way, let's just go super duper simplistic, and let's just try to kind of like do something like this. So all we need is, we would have a slash places, but I'm not sure if we would ever really use that. We would have, also, I do have the beta of Bricks installed on this website. So if there's any reason to use, components, we could do that. It's also hot as hell in this room. I'm gonna take this thermal off. All right, let's see here. So I'm gonna need, let's see, what's our main mission though? Now that we have this side of things kind of squared away, I think we definitely need taxonomy still. Let's hang on a sec. So let's go to taxonomies, and let's say, so we had this main tax here before. Let me delete this. Delete all terms. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so let's delete this, and let's say, so we want places, right? So we have places, and we're gonna need like place types, basically. Yeah, let's say types. Yeah, places. And Joe, I feel like I've redone a lot of the stuff that you did, so let me know if you want to see something specific, because I don't want to just redo. I'd like to actually provide some value if possible. Okay, so taxonomies, types, we're good there. Do we need, for events, do we need anything specifically? Types of places. Let me go to places. Why does it say place? Oh, I typed in place. Oops. I typed in place here. Type. There we go. Type. Great. Good enough. Okay. Hierarchical. Definitely need that. Okay. Right here. So here we would have like types, and I think this is gonna work. Yeah. Okay. So restaurant. Great. And like hotel and park maybe, and I don't know, other big ones. Theater. I don't know. This is where it gets really hard, because you get really narrow really fast, and it's like, now this is stupid. Why are we making categories? You know what I mean? You don't want to go super deep, I feel like, on some of this. Let's see here. Oh, well, no, it is actually cold here. I live in Pittsburgh, but it's just hot in this room because I got this large PC blowing like 150-degree air out of it. You mentioned not using events plugins. Is there a native way for via Bricks, ACF, Meta, Crocker to sell tickets or register or log RSVPs for events? So, okay, so I would say the answer is yes, to some degree. Is that something that I would build? I'd have to be making a lot of money to build that, because there's a lot that would go into that, I feel like. If you want to go that deep, I would probably go something else. Although I would say, like, if we're talking outside of this example, something to explore. If we're talking within this example, I don't know if this website would be selling the tickets. You know what I mean? We honestly forgot an event. We forgot an event type, which is kind of important, or not an event type, but like a I have too many tabs open. I have too many tabs open. We forgot. In my opinion, we probably forgot something in this events thing if we were gonna do it like this. What we forgot in here is a URL to go actually buy tickets to the event if applicable. Now, maybe you're selling tickets through this website, but I don't think in most cases that's going to be how it is. So it'd be like external, because I've done this specifically on a client site not too long ago. So like an external event link, okay? And in business, like in the business sense of that, you would want that link to be hopefully a tracked link. So when people, like an affiliate link, if you have it, or just like any sort of link where it's like you put an event, like there's there's a, I don't know, like a charity ball thing that you can buy tickets to or something like that in town. And then on your website, you put that information in, the pertinent information, you copy and paste it in or whatever. Ideally, you'd want to automate it, but let's say you copy and paste it in. And then down in the event, this external event link, there is a call to action on each one of the cards or the card itself or the page that is on your website that says like the charity ball or whatever, but then the external event link goes out to their website so like you're not actually handling that shit on your website. You're not handling the transaction or whatever. But again, ideally you know that the traffic went there. You can prove that if you had some relationships with those people and stuff like that. I'm just getting a little deep into it. But to answer your question there specifically on that, to sell tickets or register, you could definitely register, log RSVPs for sure. The ticketing part is probably weird because I think most of the time that's done with like QR codes that are generated. I'm sure you could layer in something like that, but that's a little bit bigger of a scope, I feel like, than what we're doing here. Still a cool thought though. Just not exactly sure. Yeah. Interesting parts are yet to come. No, as far as archive pages and custom filters. Yeah, for sure. Food, sleep, things to do, all these subtags, and then letting listing owners sell events, let people register. I'd have to think about that again. I think it's outside the scope of this, but like let listing owners sell events. I'd have to think about what that actually would look like in like a marketplace, I guess. I'm dealing with the site's events has created 100,000 URLs. Jesus, God bless. Ticketing is trouble waiting to happen with fraud. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're doing, what your business model is. Yeah, for sure. So, okay. So I do really want to get into some of the structuring of these types of things. So we have a type for places, like a type of place, and then we have events. So things to do. How can we categorize things to do? Why is my mouse being weird? Let me go to taxonomies here, and we could just call it things to do. Do we want to do that? Things to do. Activity type. Event type. I don't like calling it type again, but I always default to that. We could just say like honestly, we could just say category, but or just like event category. I always like to kind of like be a little bit more descriptive or it's not really going to be. I don't think we want to do that because we probably want to we probably want to relate this taxonomy to both, right? We might want to do that. Can we see a scenario where we go back over here and we say outdoors and there'd be a page that's like outdoors, and then there would be events. Yeah, this is what I was saying earlier. So we need to categorize these kind of in that way. Um, yeah. So let's not say outdoor, or let's not say. Let's say things to do. Why places type though? Well, I'm trying to think here. I gotta fucking take this fucking thing off. I'm trying to think here. Like, if fucking thermal. Um, if it was things to do, right? And then you had, because you were talking about though, there might I do think there needs to be a taxonomy that goes over both, because nightlife, again, it depends on what you want this to look like, but if you have a menu, what the hell, where am I going? If you had a menu like this, regardless of what this says, if you have a menu here and you click on outdoors, when I click on outdoors, what am I, there needs to be I still think, here's the thing, you don't need to show the places that are outdoors alongside the, you could have a taxonomy. You can have a taxonomy like this. Let's try it like this. Let's try it like this. Let's just call it things to do. And let's say places and events are both like this. Okay? Let's come down here. Let's always switch this on. Should do that by default. Let's go here. Let's go to places, things to do, whatever. Okay? And then let's say like these are types, right? So like outdoors. What are some other examples? Nightlife, fun and games, or something. God damn, there's too many tabs open. We'll say nightlife. We'll say fun and games, whatever. So I don't. We'd have to think of a thing here, or have Claude pick it up for us, or steal chat TripAdvisors or whatever. But my thing is, like, we could have this. The archive for things to do, nightlife. The real question you have to ask yourself is, what do you want on this page? When somebody like would see the term nightlife and click on nightlife, should that be events that are nightlife categorized, or places that are nightlife categorized, or both? Or should there be another place that has one or the other, so to speak, as an example? You know what I mean? I saw the notification while driving, checked, and you were still on your beast. I appreciate that, Kurt. Thank you, man. This is fun. I could do this all day. CPT slug should be what the Google searches for, then hierarchical state city. CPT hierarchical state city. What part are we talking about specifically there? I'm lost. But this is kind of the fun part right here, right? This is like the part where it's like, how do you, what, in my opinion, it's like, what are you expecting as a consumer of this website to like see when you're clicking on different aspects of, the website. And again, we can obviously manipulate that, but I'm saying, really, so to eat is going to be slash. If you click on to eat, maybe we should start doing a little bit of this. Let's try this. Let's try this. Oh, actually, guys. Oh man, actually. Oh man. Man. There's a bunch of different ways we could handle this. Now that I just thought of this, as we're starting to build out like the menu portion, I guess. Let me go to Let me go to appearance. Let me go to menus. And let's do types, view all restaurants. Should I have made that? Maybe I should have made that a. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of that. And let me get rid of that. Whatever. Okay. Let me save this real quick just to see where we're at here. Oh no. Kevin's cool button thing is messing me up. Let me do whatever. Let me just add this back in here just to save myself some time. So this is interesting, okay? There's a lot of things here that are running through my head right now. Let's see. No places, bars, clubs, etc. was places, bars, clubs, etc. was my idea. What was that in regards to? Do you have software to do sitemaps? I'm thinking you could make it easier to visualize how to map the website. Yeah, I mean we could do a what's a good example? We could do I think Reloom would help us with AI. I could just bring Claude up too. Claude is great. Let me see. The trouble is like we're already here, so like I need you to. I know you can't see this. Create a sitemap for a tourist website. Places to. This might work, but like I don't. Place to eat, hotels, and activities / things to do. That's a pretty shitty prompt, but I don't know if. Let me just see if this gives me anything. Whoa! What the? Whoa! What is that thing? Accommodations, dining. Oh. Hang on. Hang on there, Jethro. Hang on a second. How do I... What's the easiest way to get this up here? Let me open it. Pause. This is interesting. Claude. Y'all got to get Claude. So this is kind of interesting. This might be really small and my head is in the way. Let me move my head. Because I can do that now. That'll work. So down here, it's kind of got like a little map going that I don't think I can make this any big. Wait, no, I can't make it any better. So we have a home page, we have activities, we have dining, accommodations. I do like this. Plan your trip. Activities. Outdoor activities. Dining. Cafes, bars, and nightlife. I like what this is doing, but I'm just trying to think about. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I'm just trying to think though. I think there's some reason that we might want to relate different things together in certain pieces of the taxonomies. But we can come back to it. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Custom post type is happy hour bars. Okay. Happy hour bars. I've never done that, but I'm probably not the best SEO guy then, I guess. Inside there is California / San Diego / Beach. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Yeah, but this is one city though. Custom post types for all things hotel, events, services. Okay, inside there, slugs give location. Okay. But then you need pages to display locations. They click on locations, relationship data, just queries. Okay. Cool. I'd go broader than restaurants. Might be a lingual thing, but restaurants here are fairly specific to eat. I'd call bistro or an Irish pub, not a restaurant. Okay. I see. Okay. Okay. The CPD, shouldn't they all mirror the search intent? I mean, I I suppose. I'm trying to understand exactly what we're saying though there. I mean, like now we went over this little Claude example, um, and I'm trying to. This isn't really giving me like great. Let's actually just ask Claude one more question. How would you structure this data? And you know what we should have fucking done? We should have used the Jet Engine AI builder for this. Um, Terms of CPTs and taxonomies. Let's say and relationships. WordPress. When in doubt, just ask Claude how to do everything. Okay, I didn't need the code, dog. I just needed an example. I didn't we didn't need this. We didn't need you to code it, bro. We have the technology. We have the technology. Same for places to sleep. Hotels, just an instance of that. How about B&B or campsite? I mean, yeah. What I'm thinking is that taxonomy automatically relate. Interesting. Hang on a second. Let's see what Claude says. So this thing is telling custom post types, accommodations, restaurants, and activities. This is probably somewhat driven by my terrible prompt because I literally said those words. Here's my thing though. It's just like if you go to Google right now, okay? If you go to Google right now and I gotta make sure none of my devices are triggering when I say the G word. If you go there right now and you search for a place in the world, they have something that's like /places. Like it's just a place. And then that place is effectively, it has like we were talking about earlier, it has like an address, it has information about it. I feel like it really depends on how deep you want to get into this with that and how different the fields would be for those types of things. Because I could see a world where you have multiple CPTs and you have like hotels and you have, but again, even hotels, we already said is too granular. That's why like places is the most. Yeah, it's only one, but it's the most like vague you could possibly get. You know. So let's see taxonomies for accommodations, accommodation type, hierarchical hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals. See, like I understand that. Amenities. Oh, that's the other thing too is they're using taxonomy for amenities in that case, and then price range. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, interesting. This can you see this? Yeah. Their price range taxonomy that they created, well, Claude's price range taxonomy here is shared with restaurants. Cuisine type. That would make sense. Activities, outdoor cultural shopping. What is an activity, though? What are we saying an activity is? If you guys are getting anything from this, hopefully it's that there's obviously not one right way to do anything. Because, like, you know, you just have to pick a way and, like, hopefully be able to kind of see into the future and be like, okay, we're probably not going to change anything. If we do evolve, it's going to be in this way. and then we can just build for that. Season, interesting. Location, shared taxonomy location used across all of them. Okay, what the hell are they doing here? Location. Okay, interesting. Where's the blog, Andre? I didn't build it yet, buddy. Where are the blog posts about the pizza? Come on, send those up. Locations is vaguer. But you'd have to make price range in a stars type thing. Yeah. Well, yeah, and number of or number of like dollar signs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 I mean, I'm down to whip through this too. I mean, this kind of does make sense. How would it I kind of honestly want to ask Claude how would it do events though as well? Because I guess activity, it's kind of saying activity is events here. Yeah. That's what it's doing. Hmm. Would this work? I mean, regardless of what you call these things, let's take a step back for a second. And Joe, I want your feedback on this because you're the one building the tourist website. Would this work right here? It's one more than we had. Forget the semantics for a second because I don't know if we're ever going to get the semantics down. When we were talking about the scenarios earlier, we went with places, right? And then we went with events. So events definitely need to be their own thing. In this case, it's called activities. But let's say it's called events. Do these two need to be separate? I feel like it does make sense for them to be separate. I don't know if the semantics are right or not, but it does. I feel like it does now make sense if they're separate. If you're not going to go one, but if you don't go one, if you don't go like just places, then you're going to have accommodations, restaurants, and then there's going to be other things now that do not fit into those buckets. So what I would be doing right now is I would be thinking, how can we break this? Like, how can we break this right now? Because that's what's gonna fuck you up in 3 years or 6 months whenever you have another idea, right? So accommodations are hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, restaurants. Let's just assume that's anywhere to eat. So, anywhere to eat or drink. Let's say at restaurants is anywhere to eat or drink. So it's bars, nightclubs. Even nightclubs is kind of fucking doesn't make perfect sense. Any sort of like McDonald's, random thing like that. How do we break this? What are we saying here, Steven? It's a meta box. I like the last link. Is that which one are we talking about? Yeah, well, that's the thing is I feel like you either have them. I feel like you either have them as post types. You either have this strategy where they're post types, or if you have places, then now you have places and you have to do some level of creative taxonomy stuff and creative fields. It's funny. I've actually tried to do this. Not this exact thing, but I've tried to do something that's like, let me actually just show you guys real quick because we're all buds. Let me go to here, like back again to my thing. I've actually tried to do similar stuff, and you can see on this. This is not done because I didn't really figure out a great way to do it. There are too many types of data going on here. Like there's a lot of SaaS, but then I threw in like equipment, right? So when you they're all tools, but tools are the big, like the most vague thing that I could think of, right? And you could even argue that like, is equipment like a tool? I mean, it kind of is, right? But my point is that this is the exact same situation, and I'm not exactly sure how to deal with it because you either have to change it, you either have to make another custom post type, or you have to get really creative with the way in which you're handling it on the back end. Where like, okay, like the first question needs to be: is this equipment, or is this like a SaaS, or is it like a like a Chrome extension, or is it a credit card? It's like this is just the thing. You could go so deep with the level of categorization that you could deal with. I don't know if I'm actually getting to any answers with this part. I don't know if it matters. I think it's almost you just have to do it, and then at the end, hopefully it works out and you can scale from it, or you have to rebuild if you run into roadblocks. I don't know. Do bars and nightlife under activities, but I'm also fine doing it differently. Okay. Is there like a third? Okay, let's actually just ask this real quick. Let's do 2 seconds worth of Claude work here, just so we can kind of see. Available. This is a good point. Activities and events have distinct characteristics that affect activities ongoing and regular. Oh, interesting. Okay. Separate events, CPT. I do not need the code, dude. Come on, stop. Okay, so I think this is literally telling us now that we're going to have another one. Whoa. So, like, we're going to have another one here. Like, events would be another... See, this is why, though, in a lot of ways, having more custom post types is always easier. Because it's more work and, like, more setup, but it does future-proof you in a lot of ways. I think that's what you guys were saying. Like, it future-proofs you because you're not trying to go super vague and then having to go back to your main places thing and making a bunch of adjustments to the data. Like, oh, now I have like another thing and it needs to like, have extra data in it or whatever. I'm going to tell you honestly, like on my website, I think I have at least 8 to 10 custom post types. And you wouldn't know because it's just all like shit that like it isn't always like in the front end. But I got like policies, I got tools, I have books, I have like all sorts of shit just to do it like that. That's, in my opinion, I feel like I know we went the places route and I kind of said that we were going to do that, but now looking more at this, I do feel like it's almost easier to go a different way if the fields are going to be different. Would be kind of where I'm kind of at this point. I like to keep it as shallow as I can. See my initial menu setup. I looked at activities just as a way to group the rest of the things to do. Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely not an easy. This is definitely not an easy layout per se. I think too, like we're kind of butting up against a couple things. Like I think we're butting up against like the idea that I think we're butting up against a couple things that like we don't know exactly what we're like we know we're trying to achieve to a degree, but we don't have a specific thing that we're kind of like out to do, so to speak. We're just kind of like showing people like what is going on and how everything could be, they could find things. It's a shame. I still do like the places idea. I just can't think of a great way to do it. It really depends too. I think the other thing is how much information you want on this website. So for instance, here's one idea I had before we went on a tangent there. I was thinking like, something like this, like website name /eat. You could have like a redirect to that, and like where does that redirect you to? Well, is it going to redirect you to like or not even redirect you? It could be a page, but like where does that take you? And it would be like, okay, I guess the whole archive of all the restaurants would be like one smart place that it could take you. So that's one way to think about it. I don't know. I'm kind of like thinking of, I think I'm like at this point kind of like overthinking it a little. So let's just try to do, let's think about this. If we go to, let's go back here for a second. Let me see what you have again. So to eat, if I click on places to eat, then I would want to go to and I would expect to see a list of all the restaurants near me, places that have food. Mm. You know what? You know what? Mm. You know what? I actually just thought of something different. Maybe. Wait a minute. What did you say your main? What? Tell me, Joe. What were these four categories? Was that literally what you had? Was it like to eat, to whatever? Was that literally your four categories? Because I could see how that could work then. Because I just had that thought as well, where you just have those things, and then you could get more refined within them. But I do think I would still go like hierarchical, and that list would be just super long. What happens when you do? Let me just see something. What happens when you do? Let me see here. Why'd I change my T-shirt? I had I had a thermal on, and it's hot as hell in here. Uh, yeah, we could drop events. I thought my URL location places to eat. My slash location. Okay, so you had location instead of places. You're saying? My location activity outdoors. Number three, made a mistake. I had eat, sleep, things to do. Let's try it like this. Let's go taxonomies. Let's say, what am I calling this? This has to have something. See, I don't. If you're ever gonna create like a URL with this though, I don't know what this would be called. Um, because it would be like it'd be like thing, like uh type or thing to not. It's not a thing to do. It's like a. It's like action almost. It's like weird. Yeah, this action doesn't make any sense, but I just want to wait a minute. Hold up. Let me try something. Eat. Um, kind of like this concept real quick. Hang on. I'm rolling with it. I think this is similar to obviously what you did in the beginning. But like what if we did this? Eat, stay, do. And then we had is this literally, am I completely recreating what we were trying to do in the beginning, but like not knowing how we are going to end up putting this? And also, should these be thinking about how to, or like eat and drink or something. I don't know. Let's do hotel. Was our, I don't know, something like this, and then, oops, and then something like, there's just so much overlapping shit. It's like really hard to think about this. So like, do things to do would be like a list of all that shit. And then underneath those, what happens? I've never actually done this. What happens? Things to do / club. That's weird that it doesn't put the other. That's super. Why is the automatic structure not have the parent category in it? That's weird. Yeah. Yeah. Jet engine or ACF pros and cons. I mean, uh, it really depends. It depends on what you want. Depends on how much money you want to spend. ACF has a free version. If you want to go to wpdynamicdata.co, you can see like you kind of use both in that series to kind of explain the different things. I use Jet Engine because I have an LTD for it. I've had it for a while, and it has like a lot more stuff to it than just ACF does. But ACF is more ubiquitous. It's kind of like the one that everybody goes to first, and it probably has more integrations than Jet Engine, and more things support it. So it's a really hard question. I've been thinking about making more of a full video on that. So I will make sure I have that in the thing there. Check the Twitch chat. Yes, I am a. You could call me a web developer. I'm probably not really a web developer. I just build WordPress websites and talk a lot. That's why I made subcategories for things to do. It solves a lot of that. Okay. I see using Jet Engine a lot, but what is it? What is it better? Do we actually have a way to add a new table in the database as content table instead of adding it to the post table? I'm almost certain. I know CCTs use their own posts, their own tables. Pretty sure. I don't know if there's a way to turn it on for everything yet, or if they've done that. CPT 2EAT, spend the night, activity, taxonomy, anything that needs to be shared across CPTs. Are you saying 3 CPTs that are literally called 2EAT, spend the night, and activity? The trouble with that is that the trouble with that is that I've never had good success using words like that for CPTs, because CPTs in my mind is like a type of content, normally a noun. But I don't know. Do I stream daily? No, not daily. Normally once a week, but this is a special one. Thursdays, 11 a.m. Eastern. I think nightlife and bars are not as important as people want that. There'll be activities. That was my thinking. Okay. Well, we need to definitely get you a minimum viable product here, because we've been thinking about a lot of different stuff. What's the minimum viable product? The minimum viable product is, I still like the more, honest to God, the more and more I think about this, the more and more I think about this, the more I like the multiple, greater number of CPTs. But I'm thinking about problems that are going to happen there. And I'm trying to think of, if you have like a restaurant, how do you categorize like a restaurant versus a nightclub? This is why I think it always comes back to places. Because a place while none of this is easy to deal with, unless you had like an actual list, of all the things that you'd want to see in this. Restaurants, activities. This is just fucking annoying. See, this is what I mean, is like, it's pick your poison, because for restaurants, you have opening hours, right? But like, you would also, okay, so like, okay, let me just ask one. What if I wanted to add other places though? Should I just use one CPT for all of them? Look at that. Goddamn, stop with the code. I don't need it. Yeah, CPTs as a noun is good. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, what were you saying there? If we drop clubs and bars, it becomes way simpler. Give them their own archive page. I mean, yeah. I think okay. I know we're all over the place, but this is literally what this is. I think the way to do it is, again, to separate the noun from the action. So like, the noun is places, events, even activities could be another one, like it said here, right? And then places would be like a physical, like, location. There's no way an event could be a place. There's no way a place could be an event. There's no way. That's literally as simple as I can get it. And that makes perfect sense to me on the top part. Then when you go into places though, it's like, okay, well, we have places, but like, what do you do at the places is going to definitely be one way to categorize the places, 100%. And then when you have that, then you're going to be querying, and you're going to be comparing the places based off of the action that you're trying to get the people to look at or do, or that they're interested in. See, this is why I like this. This is why I keep talking myself back into this, is because if I'm coming to a tourism website, okay, I'm somebody that has interests, but I don't know anything about the places or the events at this place. The things that most of the time you're going to get them to land on is specific interests or specific things to do. So I think literally it's like thing to do or interest. And if we could create two taxonomies for that, relate them to places and events, and then organize our data around that, we might be in business. And it might be the simplest approach and the most future proof approach, assuming you're not trying to make like a goddamn hotel website where you have every single, like, piece of data for a hotel. This is the trade-off. The trade-off to having less CPTs, more vague, generalized CPTs, is that one of two things is going to become unwieldy. You're either going to have like a fuck ton of CPTs, or you're going to have a fuck ton of fields within the less amount of CPTs. Does that make sense? Depending on what you want for data. Like, what did this thing tell me to do? It said single CPT. All places have addresses, contact info, opening hours, ratings, and reviews. Type specific features. So restaurants have this, hotels have this. These would be meta boxes almost, or something. Shops have product categories, venues have this. This is what I was talking about, okay? So you'd either have to do that. I know how you would do this. One way you would do this is you would have a type field in the place CPT, and then you would say, is it a restaurant, hotel, attraction, shop, or venue? And then you would click that one, and then those fields would show up under that place, and then you would get that. I've done that before. Very simple, very standard. common taxonomies would be location, neighborhood, price range, features, amenity. This is the way to do this. I'm getting talked into this more and more as I see this. And then okay, I like this approach. And then the last thing we would need to ask is, how do you lay this out? The templating part is not hard. Like, we all know this. Like, that part of it isn't hard. It's just what makes the most sense. We got to stop thinking about like what makes the most sense technically and what makes the most sense from an actual user experience. And I think the way is to do it is, like, again, if somebody comes there, what are they looking to do, or what are they interested in? And you would have basically two sections. That's like, are you looking to do something specific, or are you looking to like get inspiration based off of like what it's related to or something like that. And in my opinion, probably to do is way easier. Like we've been saying, like, eat, sleep, eat, stay, or do something like we talked about. Okay, let me go through these and then we're going to dive back in. Is that whenever it's an entity, I create a CBT, they need to be related, I create a relation. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely not working on an open source project. We're just working on building a WordPress website, which is open source. As subcategory, eat, sleep, other shit. No, we keep the hotels fairly simple. Okay, so custom field to give them details on the single page, and with filters, the archive, we can go so granular. I don't want shops, okay. As a noun taxonomy, as the group of the nouns. Restaurant taxonomy is type of restaurants. That's definitely an option too. The other thing we do have to remember, if we ever get to it, is the filtering aspect of this. We don't need to filter. We don't need to filter off of taxonomies. It's easier to filter off taxonomies because it automatically creates the page. But if you don't need a page for it, you don't have to filter off of taxonomy. You could filter off of a field. All right. Enough playing around. Been playing around for a while. Although this Claude has really helped me here. I appreciate that, Claude. I'm going to ask it one more question, and we're going to get into this. Okay, so I like that. So how do we position it to the user and via like website layout, specifically in the sense of why am I typing? Specifically in the sense of how do we create a good way using taxonomies to lead the user on the website to what they actually want to see. We're struggling with maybe a taxonomy for interest or types of things to do. Maybe something like do, stay, or eat, for example. No idea what the fuck this is going to give us. Please stop coding. Fuck, I don't need you to code. Oh, what is this? Oh dear. It wants us to code the whole website. It wants us to code it. We're not coding shit, dude. Come on, man. Oh, it didn't need to build it for us. Oh, look at this. Here, you want this code? You just have this. What the fuck? So things to do, places to stay, where to eat. But how does all this relate? This is not. The thing that annoys me about this stuff is this isn't like a novel concept, but like there is a million ways to do this, even though, interest interest, location, budget, duration. There's just so much information. Activities and experiences, attractions, sites, tours and guides. It's like, where are we getting these though? Okay, so do, stay, and eat. Multiple ways to discover by primary need, by specific interest, by location. It's not telling. I don't feel like it's telling me like where all this came from though. I don't know. Where would those buttons go? Would those main question is like when you click on things to do, where are you? I mean, I guess you're not really clicking on it because it's not. It's probably not. When I click on things to do, where's that going to take me? Is that going to take me to a page? That's probably going to take me to a page. It's probably going to take me like a landing page for things to do, which is fine. Here's what I would do. Fuck it. We're going to do it. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Okay. Here we go. We're going to say eat. I am going to, we're going to say eat. This is, I would probably definitely do this thing. Cause this, I feel like this is like really like a cool concept. You have 3 pages. You have eat, do, and stay. Not in that order. Probably, I would say probably eat. I don't know. Whatever. Eat, stay, do. I don't know. Whatever. And then go to appearance, menus, and get rid of this bullshit. And then say, add these bad boys in here. And say like eat, do, stay, whatever order you want. And then I would come in here, out there, here. So eat, do, and stay. So now we have 3 pages that are like this. I would probably make these pages. I would probably design these pages to like, I mean, you could do that mega menu thing or whatever, but that's outside the scope of what you need. Then, and I wouldn't do any. I honestly think the menu portion of what we were trying to do there is confusing us because it's giving them too much too fast, and it's confused because there's so much overlapping here and we're like overcomplicating that. I would literally just go like this, and these would not be, in my opinion, they wouldn't be like their own archives, because it's like if you go this route, you could say go to /eat, and then like they would see a ton of options on this page for eating, and then from there they get the options of, okay, really what they're seeing is all places categorized as eat, right? But but in my opinion, like, this is a nice clean URL structure and everything like that, but they're places that you can eat at. That doesn't mean they're a fucking restaurant. That doesn't mean they're a bar. That doesn't mean anything. You can eat there. And then there's things that you can do at. This is super abstract because there's just too much data, I feel like, here. So, all right. So if we go to, I feel bad because I feel like this is kind of like the main tax that you were talking about, Joe. But I do feel like there's some twists and turns in here. Where are we at? What the fuck? Where am I at? I'm losing it. I'm gonna get rid of this again because like I don't even care. Eat and drink is the same thing. My book here. And then we would have restaurants. Oh, what are we sending it? Oh, sent me something. Hang on. Screenshot. Interesting. Let's see this. Feature hierarchy, usage, built-in functionality, flexibility, feature, categories, relations. What am I looking at here specifically? Multi-layer custom connections configure no requires like highly flexible employees linked to departments. Okay. Little lost on this. Gonna have to educate me on that, Joe. Wait a minute. Can you? I don't know if this is the way that I would want to do this. Like this part specifically, with the sub stuff. Let's try. I hate the idea of calling this actions, but I really want to call this actions. But things to do is fine. I don't like it. I don't like it. I really like calling it actions or something like that. That's just me. But I don't ever want to see it really. Because things to do, I feel like I associate it more with this one. But is what it is. Okay, so let's try something here because we haven't yet to actually add anything. Let's say like McDonald's, whatever. Why did it do that? Why did it do that? And that would be okay. So this is probably how I'd run through this. I want to add McDonald's. So I add McDonald's, and it's like I have to make a decision. Do I eat? Like, what can I do there? Can I stay there? No. Can I eat there? Yes. Can I do something there? Probably not. Okay. Let's forget about this types thing for a second. Let's say another one. What's a good weird one? The Hilton Hotel, which is probably what it would be called, I guess, right? So the Hilton Hotel. Can I stay there? Yes. Can I do things there? Like is it an attraction? Is it a shop? Is it a some sort of like recreation thing? Probably not. Maybe though. That's pretty subjective. Can I eat there? I mean, like, see, like that's probably a yes. It's a little weird, but it's probably a yes. Realistically, there's probably a restaurant there, and it's probably open. You know what I mean? So, is that a yes? I feel like that's probably a yes. The other thing I'm thinking about is, this is actually the thing though. This is actually the thing. This is actually the thing. This actually might be a one paragraph answer to the initial question that you asked me, Joe. Is that if we just took this things to do taxonomy and we layered it like we're doing here and we put it in like we're using the same methodology, but instead of making a taxonomy because we don't really need it, we make it a field, and then based on what you're clicking here, there's options for like what you are seeing. That might be the way to go. And then you have 3 pages that are eat, stay, and do. On those pages, you just have queries that are, what you're trying to do and everything. The trouble is going to become, though, when you want to, like, say, like, oh, show me all the restaurants, and then, like, you don't have an archive option for that. This is not an easy thing. I mean, it's doable. It's just there's a lot of weird shit going on. What if there's 4 McDonald's? That's a good question. There's 2 ways to handle that. You can either have multiple entries and they would be like on different streets, or you would have a field, or you'd have like an address. You could have like an address with a repeater. But I wouldn't do that. No, I would have everyone would be a different entry. And I'd probably say something like yeah. No, I'd probably definitely go like this. I'd say like 5th Ave or something. Something like that. or like an intersection or something like that to denote it, because, or even just a number, because the website is probably gonna be the same. The phone number is absolutely going to be different. The address is absolutely going to be different. The hours might be different. The amenities, depending on what they would be, might be different. Still alive, barely. Hanging on. Relations versus taxonomies and categories. That's another thing, yeah. Oh, the restaurant has, yeah. Well, that's a good thing then. It doesn't need to be, doesn't need to be like that. Why pages? Pages for the for pages for the do, eat, and stay. The one upside is that you could just have those like easy URLs and just create those things. Those pages are never gonna. You gotta think of those, if you're gonna do it with pages. You have to think of them as landing pages. You know, so they're just for that. They're not for anything else. And honestly, you do not need, like, they're. We could just create. I mean, we could just create archives for these. We could. I mean, we could just create archives and then just show everything that you can eat, do, and stay at one thing. That's probably the easiest. Um, and then I'm actually so lost now. I can't even think what our actual problem is. Automation tool and pushing data into custom fields as a follow up, right? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's do. Nope. Let's do. I guess things to do. Things to do. Archive. Taxonomy archive, I guess. Whatever. I mean, it's a tax, so. Where's my heading? Oh, what the fuck was that? That just like moved on me. So heading, let's see what we got here. H1, what is this going to be called? This is our, is it a term? Archive title, maybe? Do. Come into here. So we're creating our archive. Let's do conditions. Let's do archive. Let's do post type. No. No. Wait a minute. What the fuck? Ah. There we go. Wait, what? Oh, all terms. Okay, all terms and things to do. There we go. I would just create, again, super simply, the same exact layout for each, which is probably not going to work somehow, I'm sure. But so do, let's go back to this shit here. Where's my thing that I'm going for here? Menus. I guess we're going to get rid of these. And we're going to go to things to do. We're going to go here. Select them all. Put them in here. Eat, do, stay. Cool. Save menu. Back over here. Boom. Reload, eat. Okay, so now it's things to do slash eat. Do, stay. So we have that. That's all fantastic. We come back into here. We would probably need like a fucking grid or something. Let's just do another. What the hell? Okay. Let's do. Let's do. This actually might suck and not work the way that I want it to. You might have to create 3 custom archives. I'm wondering, like, if you were eat, stay, and do, what do you want? What do you want to see there? What do you expect to see there? We're probably gonna have to create 3 separate ones, motherfucker. So if you were gonna do eat, what do you expect to see there? Type of cuisine. Fair assessment. I know it's gonna be broken now on here because this is gonna be. I like keeping things as similar as possible from page to page, but these ones, you might have to do some like crazy component stuff if you wanted to. I mean, your header could be the same, with a component, which actually would be kind of cool to do, perhaps. Let me get rid of this. Come down here. Where the fuck would we put type of cuisine at? See, this is the thing where, like, this is a perfect example. Do you need an archive for type of cuisine? Like, are you ever going to need a slash cuisine type? This is probably where you got to, right? Like, you had like a ton of taxonomies because of this. If you think you're going to need that archive, then you're probably going to need to go do what you were doing with a 50 million, taxonomies. But if you never are going to need slash cuisine slash American, that page, then you could put type of cuisine as a field rather than a taxonomy. And then if you put it as a field, then it's a little easier in a way, because then it's just those are we don't have 15 million taxonomies. But because what's going to happen, and well, the other thing too is we can control fields more. We can't control taxonomies as much. Not in our current situation, because we have places. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy. I mean, I'm absolutely overcomplicating it, but I wouldn't say that this is an easy thing. There's a lot going on here and a lot of different like overlapping type of dynamic data. It's probably not a really good first one to do, or first few exercises to do. Type of cuisine, diet restriction, type of establishment, restaurant, price range, if it has Michelin stars. See, like that's a lot of data, and that's a lot of data. And the question you need to ask yourself with every single one of those is just that: do you need to have slash Michelin stars? Like a page like that. If the answer is no, then I'd make it a field. We can also filter with glossaries. I mean, for sure. But like for Michelin stars as an example, is that only if it's only restaurants, then I don't know if we need to go to the length of making it a glossary. I still like the idea of keeping this things to do. Oh, okay. Okay. So those, I mean, they could be fields then. This is fun thinking about data this much. I'm learning a lot through your thought process. Thanks for documenting this and giving people a possibility. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am glad that you are enjoying it. All right. We need to potentially continue to add some more shit here if we're gonna do some work. I should just add random stuff, but like Wendy's it is. Wendy's. Eat. Boom. Let's see. I guess you know what? Let's have some fun real quick. Let's have some fun. Let's do header, or let's do not header, but like let's say hero. Let's say archive hero, right here, and then let's save this as a component, and we'll say things. Actually, let's say things to do hero, and you guys will get a little bricks. You guys will get a little bricks component situation going on here, which I have no idea other than what Kevin showed today. So like archives, like this would pull from there. That's our component, right? And this is a component within a template, and our template is currently set to everything. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go out of this. Did I even need to do that? I probably could have used actually a template for that, but I like the idea of using a component because it's cooler. I should actually see, this is kind of inception-y though, because I'm using dynamic data directly in the element rather than in the component property thing. So that's not entirely necessary. What I want to do is I want to go to template settings. I want to come here. I want to say archive. And then I want to say things to do eat instead. So we're just on eat. And then I want to come and let me do a couple more. I'm going to go to bricks, templates, boom. I'm going to duplicate and duplicate. And then I'm going to come into edit with bricks here and edit with bricks here. And I'm going to say, all right, so just real quick, we would have type of cuisine for eating as one random thing that would be on there. And then in here, we would have archive categories. And then this would be do. Save. This one would be templates, conditions, condition, archive, categories, stay. Lovely. So what would be down here on stay? On stay, we would have like, it'd say stay at the top and like maybe a category or whatever. So we could say like hotels, maybe, right? And we could say, oh fuck. Oh man. Oh man, I got an idea. Nested loop. I did this already on stream one time for a different example. Did that work? Did all that work? What the fuck am I not able to reload for? Oh, apparently it didn't work. Did I not save this one? Let me go back here. What happened? What happened? Stay. Okay. Why is it not working? What the fuck happened? I think this actually is. Let's say do archive. Let's just say do archive. This is I don't know. This is just annoying when you have to like make custom archives for each one. Because like it kind of is kind of goes against the concept of an archive. Like you'll have the right thing, you know, like you'll have the right you'll have the right URL and everything. Like it'll be an archive URL technically, but you're still like creating like custom archives essentially, like custom like one-off instances of archives. But aren't fields slow and bad practice? I mean, bro, like I don't. I mean, maybe, but at the same time, it's like you know, there's a lot of data here. So I mean, like we could have like again, we could go back straight to your original example where you have like a ton of taxonomies, which I don't think that's a bad play. The more that I dive into this, think about it, just there's just a lot more taxonomies and stuff that like you're gonna see. And then also, like, I mean, what does it look like with the places situation? Like, don't you have like a ton of don't you have a ton of taxonomies that aren't used at all? If you do places and you do like a ton of taxonomies for different types of restaurants and locations and all that sort of stuff. I don't think there's again, I don't think we've been talking about this. I don't think there's like a one-way answer for any of this. Are filters and taxonomies bad? Yeah, nested loop, bro. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I kind of want to get to that, but this is a lot. Um, I'm confused what I did wrong over here. I think I fucked something up somehow. Um, I don't understand why I'm not sure why my things aren't working. Eat, do. Is this what is happening here? What is happening here? It's annoying. Oh, wait a minute. Bricks templates. Oh, it's a draft. You piece of shit. So stupid. Stay, archive. Do archive. Eat archive. Cool. Do, stay, eat. Okay, great. We would need to change that, but that is what it is. Well, here's where confusing. For sure, there's some universal filters like wheelchair friendly. Um, mm, let's see. Places, things to do. Type. Hotel. Could we fuck, how are we gonna man, this fucking sucks. How are we going to relate? I mean, if we went in, we could put meta fields on taxonomies, and we could put relations on taxonomies. I think this is the way. I think this part though, I'm pretty confident about this. There's one taxonomy to say do, eat, and stay as our big things. Then we have more taxonomies. We don't. The hierarchical thing could work, but I think it's going to get out of hand. And also, the other big problem is you can't have two things that you're related to. So, for instance, we need to think of an example Is there anything that could be like a type of place that you could be in do and stay? I feel like the answer to that is probably there's probably that's probably possible. You get the problem of UX for listing owners. So how do we show the taxonomies check off but not ones that are not interested in it? I think I know what you're talking about. So I created a restaurant listing. There will be tens of taxon. It's exactly what I mean. Yeah. I don't know if glossaries are going to solve that. Um, my next question is, Joe, is like, let's say we're married to this places idea. So we have a fuck ton of places that are going to, let's forget about the taxonomies and everything for 1 second. We have a ton of places, right? We have McDonald's, we have the theater, we have the movie theater, we have whatever. I need to generate a like I want to generate a bunch of places, but my thing is did you have anything like this list that I'm seeing right here? Like I need types of places. I need preferably an exhaustive list of types of places. And I'm actually going to ask Claude for some, and you tell me if you had one. So like, give me a big list of types of places in. I'm actually going to use the city name. Oops. I think relations are going to come into play here somewhere. Okay, that's not what I meant. Okay, I don't need actual places. Jesus Christ, but this is good data here. Dining districts, entertainment and culture, parks and nature. Does any of this stuff look familiar? um, filters on archives. Well, yeah, I mean, don't give me specific places, just types of places, i.e., categories of places. I think something like this needs to happen. I don't know how deep you want to go. I don't know. This is the endless problem of doing this shit is that you have to decide how low you want to go. Like this is really broad, you know what I mean? But it would be, you know, we need some level of data, you know, if we're going to do something. So, you know, this is almost the most important part truthfully is like you have to decide like how deep you want to get into the actual weeds of how many of these you want to actually care about and then how much deeper you want to go into each one is the way that I'm thinking about it because you can't map out your data structure without knowing how deeply you want to get um into the weeds of categorizing. What am I doing? We're on a WordPress website. Well, this is Claude, but we're trying to build out the data architecture for a WordPress website with Bricks is the builder and Jet Engine Crockablock is the custom post type thing. And yeah, so data architecture in WordPress. Then you connect them where you need them. Da-da-da. I don't see a need for places. I think the what UI think the line of what I'm kind of confused there. Not where do they want to go? So my thinking is okay, I want to eat Do I go fine dining? Let's go fine dining, Italian dining. Click Italian. My cousin has a wheelchair. I don't need places. I don't need places for that, right? I just need narrow. What is I want to do? I'm a little lost on that, the way you phrase that. I think you need places because the places are the things that you're going to end up at. You know, ultimately, I think you definitely need places, but like in the sense of, um, I think I see what you're saying because that's how a user would come to this website. They want to do something, like things to do. And it's like, do they want to do something specific? Do they want to eat? Do they want to stay? But you at the core of it though is kind of like a place. So yeah, I don't I don't know. I can't think of it because hmm, it's like a whole thing there. Best for I don't know if there's one way to do this. I see what you're saying though. You don't know. I think what you're saying is you don't know if there's a reason for type. My initial set of that is about 90% of anything possible one can do. That was my reasoning. And give these 6 options in archive. 6 options. Huh. Um, Hang on, let me think for a second. Let me look at something here. Um, Uno momento. Okay. I don't know what's going on. All right. So, all right. Okie doke. Let's try it. Um, so the do archive. So if somebody comes to the do archive, let me, I guess, go to, let me insert a container. That's not what I wanted right there. Right here, I'm just going to go grid 2, 2, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, whatever. Over here, we got our filters. I don't think I do them on nice. Probably a checkbox filter. Okay, what the fuck? Where did that go? Duplicate this, bring it up here. Filters. There we go. Checkbox filter. See, I mean, I guess it'll work like this, but there's no, you're not like really helping them get to where they need to be. I feel like you're just effectively, where's this example, this events one? Is it kind of this? I mean, this works, right? This is fine. This, I know this is events, but like this, if this is what you're talking about, then this works fine. But you're not giving them any, you're not leading them anywhere. You're not like giving them anything. You're just giving them the option to filter, which I feel like makes sense. And I mean, if you were gonna filter, um, if this was the thought process, then I'm gonna be honest to God with you. If I was gonna do it like this, like maybe taxonomies are faster, but fields are gonna be like way easier in a lot of ways. You're just gonna have way less taxonomies to manage on the back end. Like when you're actually putting things in, you could customize some of the what's it called? Some of the conditional logic and everything like that. Um, so makes sense. Yeah, I can get exactly what I want that way with this way. I mean, I don't know exactly what you want. Do you want this, like what we're looking at here? Because that's. I mean, that seems like, yeah. CPT, place to stay, eating out, things to do, events, taxonomy, what can be grouped, eating out, fine dining, budget. I do think that we are confusing the back end to the front end. I mean, I don't. Mm, I mean, places to stay, eating out, things to do. Like I still feel like that is not really, like, I guess they're nouns, but I don't really think they're nouns. It doesn't have to be nouns, I guess. I just think it's easier to understand that way. But if they want to eat, that is what they need. No, about glossaries, aren't the stored differently than fields? A lot faster. Honestly, I don't know. Um, it'll be about the type of food. Get to main activity from there, filter from there. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, then I guess I don't know. I'm lost. So let's try it. Search, filter search right here. Forget this then. Delete that. Come over here. Let's see. Do we have a simple card somewhere that I can use, Kevin? Templates. Let's say grid, maybe, actually. Grid, 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 grid. If they're looking to eat, then it's going to be a place. If they're looking to do, then it's going to be. I still don't like it. I'm going to be honest with you, because if they're looking to eat, then it's going to be a place. If they're looking to do, then it's going to be. It could be an event or it could be a place. And then if they're looking to stay, I guess it could just be a place. So that might make sense, I guess, in that case there. Can I get a half decent card somewhere here? Is this one all right? I don't want a woo grid. Just give me a fucking decent card for this. I guess maybe these guys. Not really. Just a place card. What's a place card? How about this guy? Let's go way back. No. Let's go here. Whatever. Don't know. Don't care. Give me that. Put it here. Terrific. Terrific. Let me go to. This isn't how you're supposed to do this. Don't do it like me. Should probably clone this class, or bem this class out. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna make this our card, our query. My favorite part is going to be posts, places. What are we at? what is this? This is things to do. See, this is a problem in my opinion because you could have events here that you would want to put, and then now you're going to be mixing like events with places, and the likelihood of those cards looking the same is a little weird. And also, they're just not the same type of content, so that's going to present a problem. But let's assume we're not doing events. Places, probably just, this is also kind of, I guess you're just going to have to do it ascending. I mean, you could do it random or whatever, but -1 and is the main query, maybe, maybe not. No, that's fine. Whatever. I think we're good there. There's nothing in the do category, I don't think. Examples of doing. Examples of doing. Museum. Fake museum. Do. I think that would classify. Another one. I don't know. Central Park. Central Park. Do. Save. Over here. Boom. We got some things there that don't have fucking data. Okay. Boom. Post. Title. Bang. Short description that I'm absolutely not going to write in there. Okay. Central Park, fake museum, cool. Obviously, might want singles, might not. I don't know. And then, so the question would be still, if we don't, what types of filters do we actually give a shit about? I guess is really our main question. Yeah, and then what do we got here? Where are we at here? Favor, go to the initial site. What can you think of that you cannot find there? So if we give all these main menu options, an archive and a filter from there, just semantics. Yep, doing it on 1.12, dog. We're doing it live. Or to do or a place. They are both locations in mind. I don't agree with that. I mean, I think that to do could absolutely be an event. Kind of late stream. Thomas got you all excited about these components. Yeah, I was gonna do one with the components. We'll do one. We're doing one tomorrow at 11 Eastern. With Brendan. He's gonna teach me all about the components. I tried to use them a little bit up top here. But they should be fun. I mean, I don't know if I actually did anything with all this 3 hours worth of work here. I mean, I feel like I learned a lot about not how to not do it. I mean, honestly, I still think that the events part is like pretty critical, and I would want it all to be in the same thing. And I would want it to be on the same website, and I would want it to be, I would definitely think that things to do, in my mind, if I was okay, let's maybe wrap. I mean, unless there's something specific, but I feel like I've done nothing here, so let's just take a step back for a moment. If we go back over, I mean, I guess you could sub out events, I guess. Like they could all be places, and then if we leave events out, that could be its own separate thing, I guess. Sure. Um, but then I definitely think there needs to be like, you definitely still need to relate places to events, and you need to have, when you, let's say for instance everything was a place, you had do, stay, and eat, and then like you click into do and you have like the museum, right? You absolutely need to have, here's one idea, here's actually an idea, no bullshit here, I would absolutely do this. Okay, so I would have eat, do, and stay. Okay, and you could have it just like the way that you had it with the little filters and everything like that. Okay, fucking fantastic idea here that I don't know if I can actually do or not, but this is a fantastic idea and I'm leaving you with this. Okay, here's how I would do this. All right, all the taxonomies and stuff like that, go taxonomy crazy. I don't think there's a way to make it easier on the back end unless you use fields. As far as like the display of all that, I think it's going to get unruly, but I can't think of a better way to do that for the filtering. If taxonomies are actually that much better, then maybe that's the way to go. Let's put that aside for a second though. What I think the best way to do this is eat, do, and stay. And then events are their own separate thing. These are effectively, I understand where you're coming from with all that. These are all, let's operate under the assumption that these are all places, right? So eat, do, and stay, you're going to end up at a place. So regardless of where you're at, you're basically going to get your thing here, right? This is effectively something like this that you have with events. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. Something like you have at events here, right? All of these would be like search, it doesn't matter, like search do or search eat or whatever. It doesn't really matter. You're on those three things and they're categorized by like what you can do at those places. And then you have these things and it just looks just like you have it here, but it's on these three different ones. Here's what you could do. And I think this would be a very nice little touch. If they all have singles, you could do it on the singles too. But what I would love to see is two little small things. And I can't think off the top of my head how to do this, but something like this where you go in here and you say like a bat, like maybe you have a badge or you have a just another does Kevin have a good like little, like a little badge or something? It doesn't need to be a badge, just like a banner. Is there like a banner? Nope, nope, nope. Okay, fuck it. Just something like this, and we'll duplicate this, and we'll just. This is way too much padding here. What is going on? What is happening? Where's my? Is this thing wigging on me? Is Thomas wigging on me here? What's going on? One little nice thing that I think you could do that I'm not sure with the way that the filters work is this. You're still relating places to events. So then you come in and these are all going to be places. This grid is always going to be places. I would probably make this card a component because if you ever want to add anything or play anything to it, like you should make a places card component in Bricks and you should utilize it. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm not going into that right now. And then down here you should say that this lead thing should be like events badge or something. It would probably look better somewhere else, obviously, not right here at the bottom. But you should have something where like either like a little thing up at the top or somewhere like a little note almost where it's like this right here says like it's dynamic data, but it's like like upcoming, like upcoming event, right? So it's a little note and it's dynamic. It's not on every single one. But if the thing has an event associated with it that is upcoming, that is in the future, then you show this. Okay? And you would do that via honestly, the way you're going to have to do that is this is going to have to be you're going to have to wrap this in a div. You're going to have to query loop this. This is a nested loop in here. The query is going to have to be jet engine relations to posts. I don't know if they even have this. Actually will probably work. It'd be nice if they had more features here. I think they do now with ACF, but this is jet engine. So I don't know if I'm losing you here or not, but the point is that you would do, I would love to see something like that where they're searching for things to do and they could see like, oh, I want to go to the fake museum. Oh, the fake museum has an event coming up. Let me check that out too. and that could be really cool. Obviously, on the singles, you would have that, but if you're not going to go that deep, like if you want them to filter and stuff like that, that's something. And then the other thing is, I don't know if you can do this because like this is lacking over here with these types of things, but it'd be really cool if you could filter by that. I think I've seen many people ask for this exact thing, and I haven't thought of a reason why you would need it yet. And I think this is literally it. It's like a relationship filter. So if the thing that you're filtering has a relationship to event, then you could have a filter over here that says, oh yeah, like show me the shit that I whatever term. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna have, which is super unfortunate. But you could probably pull this one off. But this part, yeah, I'm sure that's on the roadmap. Yeah, I mean they could be recurring too, but yeah, they're like an actual moment in time, so to speak. You would not use these subcategories under activities then, activities for lack of a better word. Would I use the subcategories under activities? Help me with that. Oh, I see what you're saying. When we say, are we talking about back here? Like, are these our activities? Are these things to do? Is that what we're talking about? I don't think you're going to be able to do what you want. Oh, fuck. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait, hang on. Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Let me see something here because I want to know if this is going to work. Let me go here, here. Things to do. I don't know why that says events, but I don't think it matters. Doesn't matter. Hide. Can you? Oh, you can't. Hide count bracket. This would be kind of cool if you could hide auto. You see what I'm doing here? Let me go events, things to do. Let me try this again though real quick. Let me say night. I don't know what we're categorizing under here, but like let's say like restaurants. See, like I thought we weren't doing this though. Bars or like bar or whatever. It doesn't matter. And then like hotel B and B. I'm just trying to see something here. Fuck, seriously? Can't move these. Restaurant is eat. I just want to see what this, if there's any ways to play around with this on the front end when you go to do these. I would say eat, I guess. Probably not. This is just a big problem for me. I mean, I'm not. Maybe this isn't like what you're talking about. Maybe you're talking about the nightlife thing. I don't know. That seems like interests to me, and there's just too many ways to filter, which is a good thing. But there's just, because there's too many ways to filter, there's too many options, like for them to go. I don't know. It's confusing. I'm losing my mind. I just want to see something on the front end there just for my own interest. What am I clicking? Are you serious? I didn't put one under do. Well, that's interesting actually. Oh shit. You could hide the empty ones because there wouldn't be any empty ones on this page. That's kind of cool. I mean, it's obviously already going to have all the dues done on those, but that's an interesting idea. You could do like a crazy ass taxonomy if you want to do that. The trouble is like Anything you put under do, you can't put under anything else. That's an interesting way with the hierarchical thing. But if I had a couple other ones like listed here, if I had like park under do and I had like museum under do or something, then I could click those and that would pop up. That's kind of an interesting concept. Conditions in bricks. What are we talking about conditions for? What part? Under activities, I had outdoor sightseeing, that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess. I guess we could do that. I mean, I guess you could do that. I'm kind of confused at this point because like there's too many different types of activities. Like, okay, so outdoors. Okay, so outdoors, right? Somebody clicks outdoors. What are they going to see? Or somebody filters by outdoors. Like, is outdoors only? Okay, let me just say it like this. You want to put outdoors in a taxonomy. Where are you going to put it? Are you going to put it under do? Is that what we're saying? You're going to put nightlife in a taxonomy. Where are you going to put it? You're going to put it under do? You're going to put it under, or are you going to make a whole new taxonomy for this? I mean, that's possible for sure. But then but if it's a new taxonomy, then what places are you putting in nightlife? Like, are you putting a restaurant in there? Are you putting like a bar in there? Um, are you putting anything in there? I mean, again, I mean, you probably already have this, but like jet engine, taxonomies. I didn't plan for stream for 3 hours. This is crazy. Maybe we should just go for 10 at this point. Oh, activities need to be linked to places, I guess. In my mind, they're linked to the other thing too, in a way. No, we don't need any of this shit. And then hierarchical, and then boom, and then places, activities. So we have nightlife, we have outdoors, we have what the hell else was there? Let's get rid of this. Art, culture, and music. Art, culture, and music. Okay, so you have this now. That's related to places. So when you go to add a place, well, actually, let me do this too. Let me duplicate this. Add this. This probably isn't going to be in here yet. Save. Reload. Here. Here. Activities. Okay. Back here. Reload. What the hell happened? Maybe it's hiding all of them because I didn't do any. That's probably it. I'm going to unhide them. Okay. So then, oops. So then you could have basically the type of thing or the interest or I don't know what word you would come up with for that. Then you could have the type of thing, the type of place. You could have something else. Honestly, I probably wouldn't do the hierarchy, I guess, because if you don't do the hierarchy, you could have multiple different types of places associated with these different things. Oh, maybe. I have to look at the conditions. Yeah. All right. What was I going to do? Let me just look at these conditions. I don't know if you can do what I want to do with conditions. If relation. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if we have that. I mean, I'm sure you can do it. I don't know if you can do it here. Virtual. If you actually had a real relationship, I'm not sure. Like this, I'm not sure if you can do it in this way. That would be cool. If it doesn't. Wait. Right here. I think this is it. So like show it if it's not empty. And then wait, no, it's not this. Query results count. There's no. Okay, I think this is how you would do this. Your query is this. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost certain your query is right here. Where is this? I've done this before. Thomas and team, man, they came up with a bunch of shit for this. This is nuts. I'm pretty sure it's this right here. Maybe not that whole thing. Maybe it's just this. I'm pretty sure it's like the query of that. So the query of this div that we have here. So if there would be a thing there, then it would show it. And if not, it wouldn't show it. So let's just test it real quick because now I'm interested. Let me go to Central Park. Let me go down to events. I don't think we have any events though. That's an issue. That's an issue. Test, publish, connect places, Central Park, connect places. Come over here. Should be good now because it's a bi-directional relationship. Get out of this. Oh, that's so sick. Oh, that's nasty. That is nasty. Now, obviously, it just says upcoming event. And it doesn't have, like, the numbers. But the fact that that was that sick. Does everyone see what I did there? Anybody still left watching? See what I did there? Because that's a really slick-ass thing that's, like, really hard to know. Because you would never know to do that unless you looked at the dynamic thing. What I did here real quick was I took... If the nested loop question asker is still here, that's what this is. So this is a loop here. This is our feature card is being looped, like, in this grid. And then within our card, there's a loop right here because this is from what I understand, the way that you have to get looped data here. I know this isn't dynamic data right now. It's just static, but the only way that I'm able to know if there's an upcoming event is I need to have a nested loop in this card, and that loop specifically is just a div, and it's calling, the query is just like seeing, hey, I'm in it. Think of it like this. This div, this one. So there's looping through the cards, right? So when we loop through the first card, we get the first card, and then inside that first card, this first Central Park card, there is a nested loop in there, and that's this loop right here. It's just a little div, and it says, hey, I'm in the Central Park card. What is my query? My query is to look at Central Park Place and see the place of Central Park and see if there is an event that is associated with it, is related to it via the jet engine relationship, because that's our query. If no, then fuck it. If yes, then I'm going to display the data within my div here, which in this case it just says upcoming event. To prove it to you, what I could do is I could go like this, and I could say, I believe I could just do post title. Yeah, isn't that our event? Yeah, see what I did there? So, so this div now down here is a loop, and it's upcoming event test. Well, I'll just do it like this. What the fuck am I doing this for? Bricks is amazing. I don't have to do it like that. There we go. So upcoming event test. That's our upcoming event. So it's doing that nested loop in there. It's showing that because it does exist, and we're not showing the whole thing. Like, we're just, in this case, we're doing the conditions to not show it there. I mean, we could do it at the div level, which is probably better. But my point is that, yeah, you can show it like that. Is one way to kind of go about doing it. Honestly, depending on the way you're doing it, you might not even need to use the conditions, but that's the one thing. The problem, again, though, is going to be the filters. If you wanted to do like, just show me places with events coming up, I don't think you can do that right now. You'd have to connect a field to dynamically. Yeah, that's cool. Large squares in city, for instance. Yeah, I mean, you could do it with a lot of shit. It's pretty dope. They've really thought of a lot. It's pretty impressive. But again, just to reiterate on the condition part, look at the I think it's in the dynamic data, like just type in like word like dynamic data bricks, and there's like a piece of documentation in there that always has all these fucking things after the colon that you would never know are like modifiers for this. Like this means the query results count. Okay? That's like we're querying, or we're conditioning off of the results, like the number of results. And what query though? Well, you have to put in the ID of the element that you're querying, which in this case is this div. So that's just the ID of that div that I want to know the number of queries from, or query results from. So in this case, there is when there is more than zero, when it's not zero, when it's not empty, when the query that comes back for the number of events is not empty, I want to show that, essentially, is what's happening there. Honestly, I think it might make more sense to put this condition up at the div level, but the point is that you can do whatever you want. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, I should probably make a video on that. You're right. Yeah, this has been fun. I hope that was somewhat helpful. I'm sure there was maybe a couple gold nuggets in there, but probably not that many. I think, honestly, if I was going to do this, I might, knowing what we want to do and knowing what you're looking for there, Joe, specifically, I'd probably just throw all the taxonomies at it, I guess, and see what happens. Let them just, see a grid like this and filter it. If you do it like that, then honestly, your main structure of your website is not going to need to have any archives at all, in my opinion. Like, it's going to have 3 archives, right? Like, where you, like, if you're filtering, you don't need archives, because you have 1 archive and you're filtering the archive. I didn't realize that's exactly what we want to do. In my mind, it's easy like that, and you're done. If you wanted to introduce other archives, then you have that ability with the taxonomies, but now you have like several more archives that you might need to manage, or what have you. So yeah, if I was going to do this, this is the last thing I'm saying, then I gotta go. If I was gonna do this right now over again, and I wasn't tired as fuck, I gotta go play a hockey game in 2 hours. I would, what I would do right now, if I were you, if you really want to get this done, and you could get it done in like 10 minutes, because you probably already have the whole setup. I would make 1 archive. I would make 1 archive like I was doing before I separated these. I would put the archive title up here. I would put a grid right here, because all of your things are going to be the exact same. This grid is always going to be the exact same, because they're just places in here. So I'd make the grid like this. I would have filters, that would be static. I would have search, that would be static most likely, because it's just going to go to this. And then your filters over here, if you want to change any of them, I would literally go like this. I would wrap these filters in blocks, and I would say, I'd wrap these filters in blocks, and this might not be the best way, okay? But I think it's gonna be an easy way to manage it, from literally 1 template, all 3 of them, basically the whole website, and then 1 for a single, okay? You get the whole website done with 2 templates if you do it like this. You go like this, and then you have, the block right here, and like this block would be the do block, like the do filters. This block would be the you don't have to do it like this. You could do this independently, but I'm saying if you had like a chunk of filters that you want for the do, chunk for the eat, and chunk for the stay, then you would have just like this, whatever, and then 1 more for, again, the 1 more for that. And then I would just go like this, and I would say stay filters. Okay, I don't want to show these filters. I only want to show these filters when it's stay. So it's like when what would the good example be here? When probably post ID. I mean, you could try current URL if you want to go like that. I think probably post ID might work, right? Yeah, I mean, we're using archives, right? So where's things to do? Yes. So do it is do is 69. No, that was stay though. Stay is 68. So get rid of this. This is a bad example though, because I think stay is gonna be all fucking weird. Yeah. Let's just do 69, but you'll get the idea. So only show it when it's 69. So you're only showing the stay filters when it's 69, and then you come over here, and is that gonna work? Post ID is 69. I would think it would work. Is this 69 though, or is this 68? I'm losing my mind. The point is though, I'm trying to only show this block of filters that would be the stay equivalent ones that I want to see. See, it's gone now. So it's only going to show up when it's on stay. And that would be if I only have one template to do all that with. That would be my idea. That would be my simplest way to do that. Yeah. Specifically thought about the archive structure. I think I prefer a more granular route for UX purposes, but also for SEO purposes as well. But I'll take your ideas into account for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a million ways to do this. Hopefully this was like at least somewhat productive in some way. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. 3.5 hours of literally solid work here. Yeah, I think it's cool. So yeah, definitely let me know how that goes, Joe. Thank you for the request and suggestion there. If you guys have any other thoughts on this or anything similar like this, I'm going to keep doing this for a while. So message me, follow me, subscribe to the newsletter, all that sort of stuff. Hit me up with anything in any of the communities or anything like that. Yeah, don't be afraid to tag me if you think I could help with something too. I always like to see that sort of stuff. Yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Thank you as always. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. What is that? 16 hours from now, maybe? Brendan O'Connell and myself, we're going to be back here. We're going to be looking at bricks again and talking about components and all sorts of stuff. If you haven't watched Kevin's video, go watch Kevin's live stream from earlier. But we're going to be talking about some like deeper use cases and actually trying to experiment with some of the things that you can maybe use it for. It's in its infancy. It's beta. I have it. This is a test site. Don't put it on your production site yet. But yeah. Did I hit 5K? That's dope. If so, did I do that? I don't know if I did or not. Is that true? Oh shit, dude. Somebody must have created a burner account and fucking did that. Look at this. Hang on real quick. We'll end it on this here. We'll end it on this. Woo! Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. Cannot thank you enough. 5K. Let's keep going. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. See you in the morning.